mask mandates in schools later this month or in March, 4 of them led by Democratic governors, even as the CDC continues to recommend masks in schools.
Cases and hospitalizations are falling. This is, of course, encouraging, and that leads us, of course, to have us look at all of our guidance based on the latest data and the science and what we know about the virus.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says they don't have any updates for now. States easing restrictions are still giving local officials the option to keep masking. Iran shows off a missile during nuclear talks with the U.S.
Iran says this is footage of a newly developed missile. A glossy video shows the weapon being launched and blowing up dummy targets. Iran claims the missile has a big range of some 900 miles, one of the longest ranges in the country's missile arsenal. If that claim is true, it could reach American military bases in the region as well as Israel. The details were released as Iran, the US, and other countries hold talks on reviving the Iran nuclear deal.
Fox's Simon Owen in London. This is the tension with Russia continues over Ukraine. Earlier today, the U.S. winning help from Slovakia's parliament, giving the U.S. access to 2 Air Force bases next door to Ukraine. America is listening to Fox News.
When you fill your prescriptions at Walgreens, you can track the progress of your order in real time. Know the price of your prescriptions before you go to pick them up. And anytime you have questions, use Pharmacy Chat to ask an expert 24 hours a day. Help with your meds from Walgreens. Side effects may include breathing a little easier because your prescription stress melted away. Learn more on the Walgreens app.
This price isn't final. This is an estimated price based on your insurance coverage.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your credit score, your true crime obsession, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private, and unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, is someone there? Oh, that's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly sunny skies in play as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. I think the winds are going to kick up a little bit on us from the northwest, but we should be hanging around 50 degrees much of the afternoon hours until we get closer to sunset. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, 27. Thursday, sunny. It's a colder day, 39, 40, but we're back up to 52 for the high on Friday, but colder over the weekend. Up and down, up and down. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're in the car, 97.1 is here to help you make time. With dependable traffic every weekday with Sue Thomas.
Road work will continue 270 at Lindbergh, and they'll have a lane down in each direction.
Sue Thomas and dependable traffic.
We did have a report of a possible vehicle fire.
Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, your solution to in-home traffic.
Both look great from out west into downtown.
Every weekday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Hi, this is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. The cool, wet weather of spring creates the perfect conditions for leaf diseases in the landscape, which may lead to health concerns. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the cars.
How about starting the new year off with a new coat of paint from CertaPro Painters? This is Mark Reardon, and I've trusted the experts at CertaPro for a long time now. They've knocked out project after project over the years, and the quality of the work always blows me away. Imagine what a new coat of paint and a new color can do for your home. It's a great time for your vision of color to come to life. Schedule your free estimate today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's a professional, worry-free process, and they deliver what they promise. CertaPro Painters.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Hey, natural gas leaks can be very dangerous if you're not careful. If you smell the odor of natural gas, leave it to the professionals to track it down. Warn others and leave the building immediately. Make sure you call your gas company from another location.
A tip from your friends at Mango.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweet
Goodness sake, Dad. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
News now, the White House COVID-19 response team is holding that briefing right now. We talked about this atop the hour, and they were just asked about more Democrat governors lifting school and state mask mandates. The CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, just said there is no update on guidance on school masking from the CDC. So apparently the guidance is still that children should continue to mask up in schools and also generally in areas of high transmission. She did say that decisions about these things can be made at the local level, meaning those Democrat governors, depending on cases and the numbers and vaccination rates. And she said that it's always been that way.
So there you have the CDC is working to update these mask requirements across the country, what people are supposed to be doing. What did the children do to these people? Why are these kids going to be ground zero when they're the statistically safest from this virus? It's quite something. If there's a good reason for it, they haven't given it. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here. JP Pritzker is supposed to be speaking at 2 p.m. on potentially releasing the subjects of his in the state of Illinois from some of the requirements that he has imposed upon us regarding wearing masks. I anticipate it's going to be an indoor mask mandate lift, where now when you go into Walmart or Target and you walk around without a mask, you don't have to wonder if people are shaming you in their heads. They're probably, if they were shaming you yesterday and you're not wearing a mask tomorrow, they're probably still shaming you. But You have the governor's permission not to care. I guess that's how it works in the state of Illinois. We've seen across the country, California, they removed their mask mandate. We've seen Connecticut. We've seen New Jersey. We've seen Delaware. We've seen Pennsylvania. Today, New York came out and lifted theirs as well. But nope, those kids in the classroom, you still be good little subjects, okay? You still keep your mouth covered whenever you move about inside. It's just the dumbest thing ever. So we'll pay attention at 2:00 to what JB Pritzker has to say. And it's going to be a lot like group therapy, at least for me. So stick around. I'm going to need you to be here because it's going to maybe he'll surprise me. I guess I should look on the bright side. Maybe he'll surprise me. Brad, you're an Illinois resident. When you hear today that JB Pritzker is likely going to lift that statewide mask mandate with whatever parameters there might be, are you like, yes? How do you feel about that?
About time.
Right?
That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't waited for his permission because I don't need his permission because he's not my dad. All right. And also, even if he wasn't my dad, I'm 37 years old. I'm a grown man. I don't need your permission. I can do what I need to do for my own health and my own safety.
It's so frustrating. The headlines that are coming out that are the way they're being worded. I'm pulling up the one that I had from the Chicago Sun-Times. I shared it to the Annie Frey Show Facebook page last night. All of the things. I'm like sitting here like, how do I put this on Facebook? What do I say about this? And I'm sure a lot of people are saying, Annie, you should be happy the mask mandate's going away. It should have been gone a long time ago. And I am not buying a ticket to the victory lap that this dude's about to take, suggesting that all of these efforts and mitigations that he's put in place, he's kept the people of Illinois safe. Just watch YouTube and see his ads pop up all the time, talking about how he has led the people of Illinois through this unprecedented time. Barf. I can't take it. And if he's going to come out like New York, and of course he is, the CDC is saying this on the same day that New York comes out and lifts the statewide mask mandate, but puts leaves in place the requirement for kids. I guess it's a suggested requirement. It's guidance. And she says the states can choose to, put into place whatever they choose to put into place here. Then the states, New York and Illinois, two of the most blue states that exist in our country, are going to come out today. New York has already done it, and Pritzker is going to do it this afternoon. Are going to modify what they're requiring the state of Illinois to do, but they're going to keep kids' masks. This is why this makes me mad. And this is why I'm not going to shut up about this. The Chicago Sun-Times headline, Illinois coronavirus, Pritzker to announce plan to phase out mask mandate on Wednesday, sources say. Headline, masquerade, Pritzker expected to reveal plan Wednesday to allow Illinoisans to go barefaced indoors again. The words that I was censoring myself from saying on Facebook, I cannot say here on the radio, folks. As I said, when I post this, you will have to use your imagination. Like, what does Annie sound like when she gets all worked up? It's not pretty.
Ooh, I know.
Not towards you.
No.
Like, what just happened before? And I got upset, but it was like something stupid I did. And usually my most frustrating thing is me doing stupid things. I just did something really stupid. I can't even remember what it is.
You highlighted something on your sheet.
That's the nerdiest thing ever. It is. I just cackled like Tucker Carlson. I highlight all of the sponsors that I get to talk to you about every day. But this time, the worst offensive way that I could highlight something, I highlighted Wiggins America.
You didn't tell me what you highlighted.
That's why I was so mad. So I have a sheet. I mean, are you people highlighter people? Are you spreadsheet people? Are you color coded and formatted people? I am. Brad, you're not somebody who's like you're just so easygoing.
Yeah, the only time I ever really highlighted when I was taking Greek in college because I really needed to organize.
That was a chest puffing out just like Ryan Wiggins does. Oh, back in my long story television career, when I was taking Greek in college.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I had to take the same class in college?
Wait, there's more to the story.
I took it 3 times and dropped it 2 times and then had to finish it the last time.
Did you pass it?
I did. I passed it. But the other times I was just getting overwhelmed with stuff. And
what do you retain from studying Greek?
I think I can remember the endings of verbs, first, second, third person, plural, and
can you read it?
Can I read it? Yeah, a little bit. If I know if it's a common word that appears a lot, I can read it.
I took Spanish. I took 2 years of Spanish, but I graduated from the Lutheran High School in Edwardsville. I went to that Lutheran High School my freshman year, my junior year, and my senior year. I went to Edwardsville High School. I went to public school for 1 year, my sophomore year. And it wasn't a bad experience. And honestly, it was probably, I just didn't make anything out of it. I transferred high schools. I played sports and wanted some extra opportunities. And I just wasn't really that. I'm telling you folks, I am an introvert. I don't know how to go out and just, make hosts of friends. Not to mention the fact that people that I had been to school with, pretty much at least 50% plus, I had been in school with since I was 3 years old. So this is family. So I went to it didn't work out, but I did make good friends there. I did play sports there, but I went back to the junior high. I took Spanish 1 at Edwardsville. I took Spanish 2. No, wait. I took Spanish 1. I think I took Spanish 1 at Metro, and I took Spanish 2 at Edwardsville, which is kind of difficult when it's 2 different programs and it's supposed to be on the back. So Spanish is one of those languages, just like if you were to kind of compare Spanish and French and Italian, aren't they all love language? Aren't they all?
They all have the same
Latin?
Fruit. Yeah, the root language of Latin.
So you can kind of take that, and then English is just a disaster. There's no sense to it.
Like Germanic.
Thank God that we learned it as a first language. But you can look at those languages and probably pick out a word that at least gives you a hint about the subject you're talking about. ¿Dónde está el baño?
Yeah, where's the bathroom?
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Where's the library?
It's not useful.
No.
It was useful for some reason when you were why of all the words that I know in Spanish is biblioteca, one of them. I don't know where my no, it's not true. The libraries around me are very, very lovely and nice, and I love them. But Greek, it's not like that.
No, well, actually, Greek and Latin developed parallel. The ancient Greek did. So there
he goes. Look at the big brain on Brad.
No, I'm going to make a fool out of myself.
Nobody here knows. Yeah. Just say it with utter confidence, like you're running for office, and go.
They developed parallelly, and there are a lot of similarities between Greek and Latin, but they're not exactly the same. Like they function the same way, but like the endings and how that works is different.
Yesterday, we were going to play a clip from Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, that Hannah played. And we were listening to it really hard. I'm like, I think that there's a Spanish swear word in here, and I don't know if it's true. If I play it, am I going to get in trouble? I won't know until they notify me. I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And they might be like, maybe don't play Spanish things on the air then. Okay, got it. We opted for something else. Regardless, if you were, I want you to be here with us at 2:00 because I want to have it for you here about what Pritzker is going to determine for the state of Illinois. And he's going to say it in a way that is going to make me contort myself. I'm going to invert at 2 p.m. Be here for that. It's a big webcam day. Might be the last webcam day. Who knows? Speaking of webcam days, the Andy Frey YouTube channel has a strike on it right now.
Yeah.
Because Wiggins.
Yeah.
We've had 3. He's responsible for 2.5 of them. And that strike goes away. It expires on February 10th.
Ooh, that's soon.
That's tomorrow. I think we're going to celebrate on Friday for as long as we are out of YouTube jail.
Will there be cake?
There could be. Go to Critters and get a cake in Collinsville. I could see that.
Like a YouTube thing flying out of jail.
Yes, I'm for that. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, we just tipped over 2,600, and I know that 3,000 subscribers is a long way off. But if you haven't watched us on YouTube yet, I would encourage you to do it because we've got quite a few people there each and every day that are involving themselves in the discussion. And now, especially in an election year, the stuff that's like super hyper local, we see people talking about stuff and telling stories and anecdotes and learning things in the chat all the time that very often become part of the show. And you know this because you used to be part of the chat on a regular basis.
Regularly.
Then he became the executive producer. So you too could.
Whoa.
Hey, no. Somebody could have Wiggins' job.
Oh.
Yeah, Ryan Wiggins.
I have the perfect candidate from the chat.
Do
dude.
you?
Yes.
Yeah. We got our eyes on a few of you. Wiggins America will be at 12:45. You know how I know that? Because I highlighted it on my paper, which I would show you, but it's got super secret phone numbers on it, like Jim Carafano's. Jim Carafano is coming up next. I'm very excited to talk to him. Did they give you a thumbs up on that topic?
They have not yet. I haven't heard back.
I'm going to ask him about this. This was issued by the Department of Homeland Security. It's been floating around there on the internet, so maybe you know about this, maybe you don't. Date issued February 7th, so that's Monday at 1 o'clock. Summary of terrorism threat to the United States homeland. This is a threat, an active threat that the Department of Homeland Security is investigating, has their eye on. The United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories and other forms of dis, and malinformation. That's referred to as MDM. Maybe that's a new thing that we need to know. MDM. Dis, and malinformation. Yeah. It's different than MGM. Anyway, introduced and or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. These threat actors seek to exacerbate societal friction, to sow discord and undermine public trust in government institutions, to encourage unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence, mass casualty attacks, and other acts of targeted violence conducted by lone offenders and small groups acting in furtherance of ideological beliefs and or personal grievances pose an ongoing threat to the nation. While the conditions underlying the heightened threat landscape have not significantly changed over the last year, the convergence of the following factors has increased the volatility, unpredictability, and complexity of the threat environment. 1, the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in United States government institutions. 2, continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets and mass gatherings, faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosques, institutions of higher education, racial and religious minorities, government facilities and personnel, including law enforcement and the military, the media, and perceived ideological opponents. And 3, calls by foreign terrorist organizations for attacks on the United States based on recent events. Why isn't that number 1? Calls by foreign terrorist organizations for attacks on the United States based on recent attacks
because
or recent events.
That's not their number 1 priority. They want to crush dissent.
That's what we're going to talk to Jim Carafano about in just a minute. So stick around. It's 12:23 right now. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get a 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. You can use promo code Cardinals for that. When we come back, Jim Carafano joins us. And if you don't mind, maybe we can get to like 2,700 subscribers on the YouTube channel soon. I really would love to get to 3,000. It's kind of a fun number. You can just go to Annie Frey YouTube channel and you can see we're live right now and join us there and say hi in the chat and tell us you're visiting for the first time. We'll be right back with Jim Carafano from the Heritage Foundation in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Censor discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk, right here, right now.
Air Comfort Service, online, easy to find at aircomfortservice.com. When you work with Air Comfort Service, residential or commercial, I'm not just talking about your home HVAC unit. If you run a business, own a business, or you're the person who makes those kind of decisions for the business and you know that it's not functioning properly, not heating or cooling evenly, or maybe it runs all the time and it's just not doing the trick, Air Comfort Service can come out right now and check on that for you. Heating system checks right now are only $53, which is down $40. So that's a pretty decent savings right there. The opportunity is now. They're celebrating 53 years of being in service. So reach out to Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Give them a call. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you do and say, I heard I can save some money on a heating service check right now, heating system check. What do I need to do to get this set up? And they will gladly service you, your home, your whatever you need done there. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Procrastination. We've all been there. But have you been dragging your feet when it comes to creating your retirement plan? I've heard it all from, I have time before I need to make a decision, or I'll eliminate debt first and then get ready for retirement. I've seen far too many people waste valuable time for their retirement planning, and I don't want you to be one of them. Hi, I'm Ken Heisey with Heisey Advisory Group. I'm on a mission to help people recognize the potential destructive impact procrastination can have on their retirement plan. Don't procrastinate. Call us today at 314-328-6000 to ensure you get on the right path toward your retirement dream. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll love is easy at Diamonds Direct this Valentine's. With an expanded selection of designer jewelry and our best offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Your love is always our passion at Diamonds Direct, but especially on Valentine's Day. So we're holding nothing back. Pick any item, get our best value price, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest financing. Everything's included. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, pendants, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course, the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. And this weekend, we're also showcasing all new collections from our top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, and others. No matter what you choose for the one you love, you'll get the best price and 5 years, 0 interest financing. We're even open this Sunday with special pregame shopping hours 11 to 4. Get more details and even shop online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Unapproved credit.
Sing my Sarah, broken halos, folded wings that used to fly.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Broken halos that used to shine.
Russia's going to do what Russia wants to do, and Russia's not going to stop until it gets what it wants, which is Ukraine not being a member of NATO and NATO rolling back. And the Russians have all of the chips. Because of the dependency of all of Europe on energy, they cannot dare to stand up to the Russians. That's why Macron got nothing. That's why the German chancellor demurred when President Biden yesterday said, "Well, we're going to shut down the Nord Stream 2 pipeline." But when you just also mentioned, or Lucas just mentioned about the American troops going into Romania, I think in part they're going in there because they may potentially have to evacuate Americans from Ukraine.
So Fox News reporting today that senior U.S. defense officials have confirmed to Fox News' Jennifer Griffin Wednesday a report in the Wall Street Journal saying that, quote, White House has approved a Pentagon plan for U.S. troops in Poland to help thousands of Americans likely to flee Ukraine if Russia attacks. So the status of this conflict seems to be tenuous continuously, and it does not seem to be moving in a less tense pace at all. Well, let's talk to our expert. You know him, Jim Carafano with Heritage Foundation, on with us right now. Jim, thanks for fitting us in on a Wednesday. We're grateful you had some time for us today.
Oh, I love your show. I would throw people out of my office to talk to you.
Well, don't do that. If you do, tell him. If you do, tell him.
Don't come back. No, I've already gone.
Yeah, tell him Mark Cox made you do that. That's how we'll handle that situation.
Genius.
Ukraine, Russia sending troops in to help evacuees. It seems to me like chaos. What's going on over there?
Well, I think if they learned any lesson from Afghanistan, recent reports came out. The president said that the disaster in Afghanistan was literally unavoidable. Recent reports came out that it was perfectly avoidable. He just didn't listen to anybody and do what he was supposed to. But the point is it would be stupid in the crisis we're in and not knowing how this is going to unfold, not to ensure that you had a plan to evacuate U.S. citizens. That's just dumb.
Yeah. So it seems to me like Russia continues to be emboldened. Is there anything effective right now? And you've talked before about this issue, kind of being skeptical, I guess, as to what the actual Russian motives are for this moment in time. Is there anything holding Russia at bay, or is it just like we're hoping Russia turns around and does the right thing here?
I think at this point, there's probably nothing else that can be done to deter Putin, and that it's all kind of in his court now. He's got everything in place. He's going to weigh the costs and benefits and decide whether it's worth it or not. And no diplomacy, no guarantee, whatever at this point. I mean, other than actual, complete capitulation, which we're not going to do, right? So I think it's all done. We're just waiting now on Putin to see what he's going to do. Here's what I would say, though, which is regardless of whether he invades Ukraine or not, we've got to learn a lesson here. This is a big deal. And people have to remember the threat is China. The problem is China and Russia want the exact same thing in Western Europe. They want a Western Europe that is disorganized, divided, piecemeal. They want NATO to collapse. They want the U.S. to be alone and isolated. So this isn't about Russia. This is also about China. And the way we deal with this is we have to make Russia irrelevant. And the way to do that is easy. I mean, what does Russia have that makes people worry about them? They have a big military. They sell a lot of gas and oil. The Chinese are their friends. Okay. This is so simple. You just deal with all three of those. One is if NATO has strong strategic and conventional deterrence, which means both that, the allies do their part, but the United States also does its part. We're forward president, bring our part to the table. You take the military option off the table. If we have American energy independence and real energy security in Europe, you take that off the table. And if we punish China, because remember, Xi is Putin's biggest supporter. He's an enabler. He's like the little kid telling the bully, yeah, go ahead. We have to punish China for supporting Russia. If we did those three things, then Russia becomes really irrelevant to the West. So I hope, regardless of how this crisis turns out, what we have to do is going to be the same, because even if he seizes all of the Ukraine tomorrow and all the Ukrainians just surrender, remember, that's not what Putin wants. Putin wants to reabsorb all the former Soviet states, and he wants to conquer and have dictatorial control over Central Europe. He wants NATO to disappear, and he wants the United States out of Europe. And he wants us to be weak and disorganized so that the Chinese can essentially do his work for him. So it's not over when this crisis is over. I hope people understand that.
There's 3 points, Jim Carafano speaking with us right now, that you just listed of things that we could do. Were we doing those a couple of years ago?
Okay, you stop picking on me. You're the second interview today where I said, here, what can we do? I said, we could do this.
You're copying other people's work. This has been done. This is plagiarism.
No, talking with Sam Malone. He said the same thing. He goes, weren't those all the things that we were doing under Donald Trump? And I was like, sheepishly, yeah, it was, right? Yeah.
And it worked. It was working.
Yeah, sadly it did. Because none of this happened under Trump. I mean, I know I've said this before in the show, but it's absolutely true. There would not be a crisis today if Joe Biden wasn't president. We would have energy security. We would have the strong deterrent that we had against Russia before, and we'd be pushing back on China like we were under Trump. None of this would happen.
Jim, are you watching the Olympics at all? Or are you taking in the political fallout or whatever it would be from the, because I haven't turned it on once. I don't care about it. I don't even want to know about the game specifically, but I am concerned about China's presence in the world and their ability to polish everything up for the world to come in and see, and then to continue to have things going on behind the curtain. Have you paid much attention?
The dirty little truth is nobody believes that the Chinese are nice guys. Nobody looks at all the little dancing children in the ceremony and believe, oh, the Chinese really are. What are they saying? And when NBC, does these ridiculous things and they go, well, China's been accused of genocide, but the Chinese government denies it. Everybody knows that's nonsense. That the genocide is absolutely not debatable. It's proven. Here's the great danger here. It's not that everybody's going to leave the games thinking the Chinese are wonderful. The message that they're going to take away is everybody's going to leave these Olympics knowing that the world failed to hold China accountable, that we averted our eyes, that we ignored what they were doing. And the message from the Chinese they're going to take away from that is we can bully, harass, and demand, and the world will avert its eyes because they're afraid of us.
Yeah.
So the message in the Olympics, and Trump, and look, nobody was worse at this than Biden. He did this foolish kind of diplomatic boycott, which is literally slipping a note under the door saying, oh, yeah, we're not coming, right? We did not lead a campaign against the Chinese. This government did everything it could to kind of not talk about this. It's like the ugly cousin that we don't talk about. So we have enabled the Chinese and made them feel 10 feet tall in our response to the Olympics. We should be completely ashamed of ourselves.
Well, I'm looking forward to when the Olympics are over, but you're absolutely right. We're basically enabling this country to do the things that we would tell people that we would never stand for. But what are we actually doing about it? I wanted to ask you, I want to shift gears here because we're talking about big issues that are facing the United States on a global scale. But this Monday, the Department of Homeland Security issued a summary of terrorism threat to the United States homeland. I'm just going to read to you like the first couple sentences here. The United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories and other forms of dis, and malinformation, which they abbreviated as MDM. That's a new thing, introduced and or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. These threat actors seek to exacerbate societal friction, to sow discord, and undermine public trust in government institutions to encourage unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence. You pay attention to foreign policy. You pay attention to Homeland Security. Is this a threat that is facing this country right now in a real measurable way, or is this political?
Well, it certainly sounds like it's political. And let me tell you what, actually, I just finished reading a book on this, So, for example, ISIS was broadcasting, nonsense all over the world. And yet there weren't terrorists all over the world that responded to the ISIS call. 85% of the people that responded to the ISIS call were like in a handful of countries. India, for example, had a huge, ISIS internet thing, and they had almost no ISIS recruits. What's a threat is not people discourse in the public space. The threat is people that operationalize and do something about that. So the Sawara brothers, who were 2 out of 330 million people in the Boston bombing, they radicalized online, but they wanted to radicalize. I mean, they were looking for people to help them. They weren't radicalized because they happened to read a blog post, from listen to a Joe Rogan podcast or something. And so that what the department put out is literally gobbledygook. I mean, it has no relation to the actual analytical data about threats. It's not operational in any way, and it could be interpreted in every way possible. You could read that and say, "Oh, Joe Rogan's a terrorist threat," because it's so vague and open-ended. I was nobody knows this. I was the leading proponent of getting rid of the color-coded, alert system. Remember that back in the day?
Yes.
The color-coded
in the 2000s.
I remember going to the department and saying, "This is ridiculous. People don't know it. It seems completely meaningless. Get rid of this." And much to their credit, it was actually under the Obama administration they got rid of this stupid thing. But what I said is, what you have to do is replace this with things that people can use. Information needs to be understandable, it needs to be actionable, and it needs to be credible. And you need to tell the American people what you can, when you can, in ways that they can actually use. That assessment is absolute it violates every standard of public safety alerts. It's vague, it's inconclusive, not helpful, and it's not even correct. It's not even factually based on real data. So this is, this is the little tiny ice flake on the ice cube on the tip of the world's biggest iceberg. This administration has turned this from the Department of Homeland Security that was created after 9/11 to make us safe into the Department of Insecurity. They are one of the leading causes. The Department of Homeland Security is one of the leading causes of decreasing safety in America today because of how they're being directed by the department. And I look at that document and I just go, you know what? This is the least thing that gets me upset. They've got the Border Patrol acting as crossing guards for the cartel. They've got the Border Patrol calling up the cartel and coordinating the drop-off of illegal aliens. We were literally importing potential terrorists in this country. And, this report to me is inflammatory and ridiculous and stupid, but it's like the captain of the Titanic saying we're all going to have corned beef hash for dinner. It's like, dude, the ship's going down. So this is bad. And what it reflects is that there is even worse things going on. Literally, this would be like the Department of Defense was coordinating with the Chinese, to help them, guard the Indo-Pacific or something. It's nonsense.
You covered it. You're so spot on. And it's so frustrating to read through this. I mean, one of the things that it says here is key factors contributing to the current heightened threat environment include the proliferation of false or misleading narratives, which sow discord, undermine public trust in the U.S. government. And it cites here, for example, there's widespread online proliferation of false or misleading narratives regarding unsubstantiated widespread election fraud and COVID-19 grievances associated with these themes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it.
The number one misinformation was that the laws in Georgia were Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
And they came from the President of the United States. Most of the COVID misinformation has come from the U.S. government, right? This is so overtly political. It's an embarrassment. This is not what we created the department for. We created a department because one day we woke up and there was a smoking hole in the ground with the vaporized ashes of 3,000 people. And we said that this should never happen again. And we want our government to coordinate to make sure that people trying to kill us are stopped. And what we have is a department who's literally following a political agenda from the U.S. government, which has nothing to do with public safety. And it wouldn't be bad, except they're actually enabling all the kinds of risks that are likely to get us killed.
Yeah, spot on. Jim, that's why we have you on. That's why we wanted to get you on today. And we look forward to it each and every week. Thank you so much for your time today. Good to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me venting. I feel great.
You just call in the show. We'll leave an open line for you. And if you got something to say, we're going to put you on here. We're going to let you say it.
I'm not going to need that very much. Okay, then.
We'll talk to you next week, Jim. Bye-bye. He's the lead expert in national security and foreign policy at the Heritage Foundation, Jim Carafano. Interesting that he got rid of the color code, or was the lead proponent for getting rid of that. Do you remember that? You remember?
Yeah, terror threat level orange.
Orange was always my go-to.
Yeah.
Was orange, like, to his point, was orange bad?
Did we ever get to red? I feel like orange was like the most like severe we could get without being like, we're in red now.
It was always scrolling on the bottom, like the scroll that would. There's no scroll.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy. Has that been gone for a while? Has the scroll on the bottom?
I feel like it has.
Oh, yeah. Fox News doesn't have a scroll going on the bottom. That's kind of shocking to me. How did I not know that? Well, there used to always be a scroll on the bottom, and where the scroll would go through, it would give you like threat level orange, yellow. Why wasn't it like pink and purple and like cornflower blue? Just to make people feel good. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America. When we come back, don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
For the reasons, don't go asking Jesus why.
The Mark Reardon Show. Hey, on the Wednesday show, it's Brian Kilmeade stopping by for his weekly visit. Former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker and Toronto Sun reporter Joe Warmington on that Canadian trucker strike.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So my wife last weekend broke her hand, and that's not something that normally I just go to the hand doctor. We had to look them up, and I discovered this thing called Patient Connect. And I'd never used it before, but while I was there, I thought, I look up. is that Dr. Ty Parker and Fountains Family Dentistry, because I endorse them. I want to know what people are saying about them. Well, on Patient Connect, you can look it up yourself. Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry, 5 out of 5. And 115 patient reviews. So it's not as if it's just his buddies getting on there. And that is good because when I endorse him, I know that I have a great experience there. I'm glad to hear that everybody else is having a similar good experience and that you can trust that my endorsement can go a long way. If you're in Illinois, you should go see Dr. Ty Parker and Fountains Family Dentistry, whether it's general dentistry or you have cosmetic dentistry, specific things like dental implants, dentures. He covers all of it. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com is where you can make an appointment. They are in Fairview Heights, very, very easy to get to, right off of Highway 64. Whether you are in Missouri or Illinois, take 64 right off of it, right there on 159 in Fairview Heights. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Did you know you can sell any house within just 7 minutes without any fees, commissions, banks, or headaches? ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com is looking to make you a cash offer on your house today, no matter the size or condition. We buy vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, townhouses, condos, and apartment buildings. If you have a house and are just even thinking of selling, visit us at ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com. Leave us your info and we'll reach out to you, ask you some basic questions about your property, and make you a cash offer within just 7 minutes. Remember, when you sell your house to ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com, you get to choose the closing date. To get a free, no-obligation cash offer on your house, go online or call us today at 314-782-5000. That number is 314-782-5000. 314-782-5000. That's ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
Here, community comes together and new friendships form. Stories are shared and new chapters written. Activities are limitless and amenities unsurpassed. Here, you'll find thoughtful care and committed attention. Here, you have a voice and are heard. Here, there is beauty. Allegro Richmond Heights, assisted living, memory care. Live beautifully. For a tour, call 314-202-5989 or visit allegroliving.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Girl, please excuse me if I'm coming. But tonight is the night we can really let go.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for spending some time with us here on a Wednesday afternoon. A reminder at 2 o'clock today, J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, is going to be making an announcement. He's giving a speech or something. I don't know. But we're going to get this. We're going to get the details from it and tell you what the update is for Illinoisans who are currently required to wear masks basically everywhere even in the car by yourself, it seems like. That's probably not accurate, but there are people.
If we didn't push back in other places, they would have made that part of the law.
I don't really like, there are people who are really upset when they see people driving in cars with masks on. It doesn't really bother me. It kind of makes me sad. Does it bother you?
No, but it makes me go, oh man, what is your life like? Did you just forget that you were wearing it? Because hopefully that's what's going on.
And I've been exposed to people who had COVID, and I've worn a mask. Like you wear it when you're around them. And if I've had to go anywhere, and I make sure I wear a mask when I go out places because of the current specific situation in my life, I wear it under my chin. But like, I can't get the thing off my face fast enough.
Yeah, I know. If I walk out a door where I'm required, I'll walk. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
Things in the trash.
Want to do Wiggins America?
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! 1250. Donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinals tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. So how closely are you? I shouldn't say how close are you following, because the trucker convoy is a big deal. How much do you know about Canadian politics?
I know about Alberta.
You do? Because that's kind of where I'm going with this.
I didn't know if that was when you messaged. And I read that article earlier, and I didn't look up anything else. So I thought I'll just wait and let Wiggins inform me.
Yep. So Alberta is lifting the mask mandate. Alberta is a province, like a state. And
this conversation happened in my house. It's my geography teacher. Alberta's in Canada, right? He's
It
like,
is.
Yeah.
It is.
He goes, why?
Oh, he want to know why? Okay.
They do.
Why is Alberta in Canada?
Why do I want to know if Alberta is in Canada?
Okay. Well, because a very short story here. A couple years ago, we tried to take a European vacation, couldn't afford it, so we decided to go to Quebec City because it felt like France. It was closer. So
you can go to France and Epcot.
Oh, okay, but it's a little
probably cheaper to go to Europe.
It is, and Quebec City is a little larger than the France section of Epcot.
It's all about state of mind, buddy.
They do not speak English there. Very interesting. I mean, it really did feel like a foreign country, and technically it's a foreign country, but it felt like you were in
Canada is a foreign country.
It felt like you were in Europe, and that was why it was fun. All the architecture and everything is very different. We found ourselves sitting in a bar in Quebec City. Very, very few people speak English, but the bartender, who was about probably Hannah's age, was there, and my wife, and some guy sitting at the end of the bar, and nobody else spoke English, but those two people did. So we were sitting at this bar talking about politics, basically, and the young girl was saying, we need to, they wanted to secede at the time, because that had been a long thing with Quebec, wanted to secede from Canada, and the whole province has wanted it. Then
they want to be their own country?
They want to be their own country, and they have for a long time.
Just
because
like
they're
Texas.
Yeah, because they're French speaking. Their culture has been way different from the rest of Canada for a long time. Well, in recent years, that's changed because the rest of Canada has started to look more like leftist Quebec. But
so not like Texas.
Not like Texas, the other direction. And so this guy sitting at the end of the bar, he said, well, I want to...
Hey, don't do that.
No, it's a great accent. I got it. He said, I want to secede for a long time.
I think The Rock is in trouble for this right now.
No, he's fine.
All right, we'll let him know.
But he says, I wanted to secede when I was younger, but it's just too expensive. And I was like, revolution, but I can't do it now. So it was great. It was like the age difference between that guy and this girl was the difference between them two. But from talking to them, I learned a lot about Canadian politics, and it's shifting right now, which is interesting. Going from left to right, west to east. British Columbia is on the far west. Vancouver, they're kind of in the middle, where they're kind of a battleground state, if you want to put them in that category. Then you have Alberta, which you just mentioned. They're the traditional, old-fashioned conservative state of Canada. Then you have Saskatchewan. They're the new conservative state. They've always been relatively.
So they're Florida.
Yes, kind of. And so those two states are battling to see which one can enact the removal of vaccine mandates quick enough. Those two states are. Then you have Manitoba with Winnipeg in it. And then Ontario, where all of the politics happens, which is Ottawa and Toronto, kind of controlling that whole region, especially. And then Quebec, which is super far left, and Newfoundland and so forth. So what's interesting is that there's this fight happening now in Canada. And like you said, Annie, Alberta has already said, well, we want to be the first to lift it. And then Saskatchewan's coming soon. The question is, will the swing states supposedly get on board with this very quickly, like British Columbia and like Newfoundland and Nova Scotia? If one of those falls soon and they start removing things, the trucker convoy wins because they're already getting there. But those are the states. I think from at least my understanding of things, those are the states now to watch, or the provinces, I should say.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how this all ends up. I was watching listening to Outnumbered on Fox, and Ari Fleischer was on there, and he was not for the trucker convoy.
Really?
He goes, I was in New York City, sat in standstill traffic for 2+ hours at a time when Occupy Wall Street was taking place. And he goes, it kept people from getting to where they needed to go, to getting to and from work, to getting to and from medical treatment that they needed. He said, if I was opposed to it then, it had nothing. It wasn't the cause that maybe he wasn't in favor of for the time. He said, I have to be opposed to it now. It's the method. It's not the message. And I thought that was an interesting take and kind of a bold thing for him to say, because if you're on this side of the aisle right now, I mean, you walk around to people going honk honk, like it's kind of an in thing. But it is an interesting perspective that I bring up because I get that. And if you were somebody who was, I haven't heard any reports of stories of people who were necessarily stopped from being able to reach the emergency room or anything like that. Good grief. It's just like the Rogan thing and the Whoopi thing where people start tying them together, and it's the hypocrisy that people hate. Watching a fire burn behind a CNN reporter and talking about a mostly peaceful, fiery but mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah.
It just makes you disgusted. But it is always important to not have double standards yourself.
True.
I still like the truckers, though.
I know. I'm still like, go for it, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Maybe I could be persuaded otherwise. Thought it was an interesting perspective. But it'll be interesting to see the political landscape in Canada as it evolves. We'll be back. Morning Fry Show in a minute.
Fox News marks Black History Month.
3 years ago, the Clotilda made news. It's the last slave ship to reach American shores in Mobile, Alabama. Since then, the find was confirmed and much of the lower deck that carried slaves was discovered intact. Now its story will be told.
Not just the Clotilda story, but the Africatown story is remarkable.
Darren Patterson, president of the Clotilda Descendants Association, tells Fox 10 in Mobile a new center will chronicle 110 Africans brought here in a cargo hold more than 160 years ago.
Smaller than some people's living room. And now they're being honored for their perseverance.
Meg Fowler of the History Museum of Mobile says pieces of the ship will also be at the center.
And it's incredibly important that this exhibit be here, located in the heart of Africatown.
If plans hold, the Africatown Heritage House will open mid-2022. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, Bagel Loan Guy, refinance, do it now because the clock is ticking. I don't know what's going to happen with the economy in the near future. I do know that the Federal Reserve is meeting in March. That's very soon. And they're going to increase rates. And when they increase rates, that's going to hit your credit card rates like immediately. It's going to hit other rates. It's going to trickle down to everything. It's going to include your ability to refinance at the low rates that exist right now. Stewie has the bagel loan. When you go to refi with him, there aren't any fees like every other lender out there is going to charge you for. So it's not going to cost you anything. It's just a no-brainer. Don't put this off. Don't wait until the rates go up and then be face-palming thinking, I should have done it, should have listened to Annie. You can Google the bagel loan to find out more information. You can also call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google that bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
The CDC says it's not there yet. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Health officials say they don't have the evidence at this point to support governors' decisions ditching masks in several states.
When asked why states seem to be ahead of the federal government on COVID guidelines as governors start announcing plans to lift mask mandates, White House COVID response team coordinator Jeff Zients said they are talking to a variety of people, including outside health professionals, about next steps.
We know that in different areas of the country, cases have fallen more significantly, and this will lead to different approaches and different timing, and we will continue to coordinate closely state and local leaders.
But the CDC director said based on case numbers and hospital admissions, they are not ready to offer any updated guidance.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. New York's governor will let an indoor mask mandate expire tomorrow, but New York, California, and Illinois will keep masks in schools for now. 5 other states plan to end statewide mandates for school masks in the coming weeks, leaving the decision up to local officials after that. Momentum building in Washington to block members of Congress from certain stock trades.
Bipartisan proposals in the House and Senate would limit individual stock trades for members of Congress and their spouses.
No one in this country should ever have to wonder what motivates a lawmaker.
Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren is introducing a bill with Montana Republican Steve Daines that would limit stock holdings to diversified accounts like mutual funds. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has not endorsed any legislation, but says she prefers a proposal that goes beyond just Congress.
The Supreme Court has no disclosure. It has no reporting of stock transactions.
On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Pelosi, whose husband is a businessman and investor, has previously said members should be able to participate in a free market economy. America is listening to Fox News.
Ever have questions about your prescriptions, even in the middle of the night? Well, Walgreens now offers pharmacy chat 24/7, so you can ask an expert about things like the correct dosage of your medications or possible side effects. Speaking of side effects, the side effect of getting your questions answered at 2 a.m.? Sleeping much easier for the next 6 hours. Try Pharmacy Chat today or tonight, online or on the Walgreens app.
Your life, your hopes, your passions. These things are none of our business. Your deodorant rash, your favorite cheese, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private, and unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, what kind of dog is that? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly sunny skies in play as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. I think the winds are going to kick up a little bit on us from the northwest, where we should be hanging around 50 degrees much of the afternoon hours until we get closer to sunset. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, 27. Thursday, sunny. It's a colder day, 39, 40, but we're back up to 52 for the high on Friday, but colder over the weekend. Up and down, up and down. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
St. Louis's destination for questioning the narrative.
And there is a capital T they out there. They get to determine who is in the right and who is in the wrong. And meanwhile, we have sat so idly by and allowed this to happen.
It's happening here every day in 2022.
In 1 month, the number of people, equivalent to the size of Boston, have come into this country and moved to wherever they wanted to. And we've completely ignored it.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
So I'm writing down right now on my paper to make sure I call Dr. Jody at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, because I am going to set my son, who is 12, and my daughter, who is 9, up with a consultation. I have a feeling they're both going to probably need some kind of braces, not like a disaster situation, but you want to make sure that you correct these smiles in the right time. And honestly, 12 can sometimes be a little further down the road than you really need to be looking at this. Grown-ups, you as well, if you've looked at your teeth, if you are self-conscious about your smile, you don't have to be. see Dr. Jody. She has so many different discreet ways, different options for you to get those teeth straightened in a way that's going to help you live your life. It's not just about having an aesthetic smile. There are a lot of other things that come along with having your teeth straightened in an appropriate way. And Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, they're just the best. Hensher Johnson Orthodontics is online at hensherjohnsonortho.com. You can call them at 618-400-0900, 618-400-0900, hensherjohnsonortho.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Start the new year on a better foot. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Tune in to Right at Home with Rich every Saturday from noon to 1 p.m. This Mosby Building Arts Home Show covers topics ranging from design and architecture to remodeling and home maintenance. For answers to all of your home questions, don't miss Right at Home with Rich. Brought to you by Mosby Building Arts.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I've passed bills dealing with opioid abuse. And we're all concerned about the addiction problem. But you want to hit the addiction problem in America a hard lick? Seal the border. Right now, President Biden's policy is this. If you are a Nigerian doctor or a German machinist who wants to come to America, you have to be vetted for years. But if you're some gangbanger drug dealer who just hops the fence at the border, you're welcome. And we'll fly you anywhere you want in America. Now, that's just bone deep, down to the marrow stupid.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy, for putting it in plain speak for us to even people like me to understand. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are glad that you are here with us. Thank you for joining us. A reminder, you can stream us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Getter, Rumble. We are everywhere. That you are also on the Odyssey app. Talking about the southern border, we discussed this a little bit earlier with Jim Carafano, and we were talking about how hapless this administration has been on the very obvious issues that face this country. And yet the things that they decide to focus in on spotlight, you didn't even know were issues that were threatening the country, and it's their priority. It's like the upside down world. And somebody who's noticed this as well, of course, is our friend Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor, joining us now. Deroy, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Annie, great to talk to you again.
So, when I look at the southern border and I see what's going on there, you're just like looking around the room like, does anybody else, am I not seeing this correctly? Because you would expect people to go, this is a huge problem. If your house was being infiltrated the way our southern border was being infiltrated, you'd be in major panic. But this administration doesn't seem to be.
No, they seem perfectly relaxed. They lie about it and say, "Oh, the border's closed. The border's closed." No, it's not closed. You have 1.9 million people who came across the border on Biden's watch between February 1st of last year and New Year's Eve of last year, and more have continued. And that's 1.9 million people who didn't show up with passports or visas or anything. They just ran across. Some of them surrendered to beg for asylum. Others, the so-called gotaways, didn't want to be caught. Those people snuck in at night and wanted to get into the country without being intercepted at all. And who knows what their intentions are. And I think Senator Kennedy put it terribly well. You've got people who have been waiting very patiently in line, waiting for their visas, waiting for their green cards, talented, skilled people who want to contribute to the society, and they're being told wait. And if you just run across the border, come on in, you're welcome. Don't bother with your COVID test. Here's your free stuff. Would you like a plane ticket to Buffalo? Would you like a plane ticket to Denver? You want a plane ticket to Phoenix or Miami? Sure enough, we'll throw you on a plane and send you wherever you want to go. And the Border Patrol has turned into like a giant travel agency for illegal aliens. I mean, it is mind-blowing. It is a total outrage. And the sooner it stops, the better, although I think this probably is going to continue probably until we have a new president.
I'm reading this opinion article that you wrote for Fox News. And in here you say, this fiasco is Biden's finest hour. How can you put into terms what's taking place to this country and refer to it as Biden's finest hour?
It's finest hour in this respect. I don't agree with this policy. I don't like this policy. You don't either. And I imagine our listeners don't either. But people call this Biden's big failure. It's only a failure if you believe he has any intention of stopping this tremendous tsunami of illegal aliens into this country. I think this is a deliberate policy. I think this is something that Biden and company want. They see these people as potential voters and probably as future Democrats of America. And their view is to get as many of them hustled into the country as quickly as they can while they have this open window with the White House running the Border Patrol, the Department of Homeland Security, et cetera. And this is not a mistake or a matter of incompetence. I think it's a very deliberate policy. And in that sense, if you look at it that way, I think this is his biggest roaring triumph and a huge success. I don't like it at all, but if this is what Biden company intended to do, they've just done a beautiful, fantastic, bang-up job.
It's impossible to look at how much they've disregarded what's going on down there and not deduce that they want this to happen. I mean, you put Kamala Harris in charge of this, she's nowhere to be found.
Nope, AWOL. No, she's seen her fight her at a leper colony. She went down to El Paso once, turned around and left, has not gone back to the border. Biden's never been there, not as president, not as vice president, not as U.S. senator, evidently. He's had no interest in going down there and either thanking the Border Patrol for doing what they're doing, screaming at them and saying, look, you need to work harder, or even to go down there and call them racists or whatever. He's paid this zero attention, never talks about it. And it'd be one thing if this were just 1 or 2 months into the administration, they figure they've got to get their sea legs into place, put their people into position and all that. But after 1 year of this situation, there's really no other conclusion than what is going on down there is what they want to see go on down there. And I think the only reason for that is they see these people as future Democrat voters, future constituents for their politicians, future participants in the various programs and initiatives that they've got going, and the more the merrier. That has to be what they want, and if that's indeed what they want, which I think it is, then they've really done a really truly spectacular job of launching this initiative and having it go along full speed ahead up until today.
Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock on with us right here now on the Annie Frey Show. I think back to, was it last week or maybe a week before? President came out and President Biden was talking about how they were essentially going to cure cancer. I mean, it almost sounds laughable to hear them come out and say this. I feel very strongly that if they have a plan to do this, we should have started it sooner. But here we are coming out on the podium and having a little press conference suggesting that they're going to work to cure cancer. Now, I see this as an obvious problem that's facing the American people, but in the context of what this president has chosen to address and chosen not to address, and they're all purposeful choices that this administration is taking. It's not like the border is a secret, among other concerns, fentanyl, drugs, trafficking that have come along with the border issues. I can't hear what this administration is doing and talking about and trying to draw our attention to, and just not hear it all as political. It seems as though this administration is only caring about politics, especially even when it comes to foreign policy. And it doesn't seem like they have the goods to back up their political statements. The media is the one that allows them to get away with this because they don't cover them, they don't challenge them, they don't call them out. Are you seeing a crack in that at all, in the way the story is being told and truth is being pursued regarding this administration?
Not very much. I see the media under Joe Biden acting as almost like a second set of bodyguards after the Secret Service. Other than the Afghanistan story, which was such a complete, utter disaster that even the left-wing media had to call him out on it and say, boy, you really blew that. Apart from that, their job seems to be to cover up for the administration, not ask tough questions, actually block coverage of things, take stories that could be embarrassing the administration and just deep six them so nobody sees them. I mean, this is supposed to be an adversarial press. That's sort of the whole concept of the First Amendment. And this is basically the mainstream media acting as bodyguards and almost like as press agents. I've seen very little crack in that at all.
What do you anticipate, or what are you hoping to see from the challenge that's going to come to this administration and everybody who supports it? Essentially, it's the Democrats, of course, who control the House. They control the Senate. The seats that they control in state government across the country, they're all in jeopardy right now. Mm-hmm. What do you need to see from the Republican Party, the message that needs to be consistent in order for it to be a winning message to those people who aren't obviously going to show up and vote for Republicans, the people who are looking around going, I'm not for this, we need a change?
Well, two things. One is to point out that, as I like to put it, this is not your father's or your mother's Democrat Party. These are complete radicals. I mean, this latest thing we heard about, I guess came out yesterday, this crack pipes for all policy, where the federal government is going to provide crack pipes to crackheads. I mean, if you want to smoke crack, can't you just buy your own crack pipe? Do you really need my help and the help of you and all of your listeners to go out and buy a crack pipe? Just buy your own crack pipe with your own money. I mean, can we all agree on that? Evidently not. So Joe Biden wants to give free crack pipes to crackheads, and that's just the latest idea. I'm sure there'll be more stupid ideas between now and the end of the week and going all the way into November. So the GOP needs to point those out. And then say we have an alternative, which is much better than this, which includes things like making the Trump tax cuts permanent, closing the border. If you want to come to America, great. Go to the U.S. Embassy in your home country, fill out a visa application. When we're ready for you, we'll let you know. This business of the Democrat prosecutors just basically throwing the jails open and saying, well, we're not going to prosecute all these laws here in New York. We've got our DA, Alvin Bragg, saying we are not going to ask for more than 20 years for any crime, including homicide, and armed robbery will now go from felony to misdemeanor. This is not Republicans doing that. This is Democrats doing it. If you're concerned about crime, you need to vote Republicans who get law and order officials back in to lock up criminals, not, play footsies with them. And across the issues of the economy, education, healthcare, what have you, speak out about the Republican alternative, which is generally about freedom and prosperity rather than massive spending, inflation, and bowing before socialist gods.
I want to ask you real quick before we let you go. I know you're in New York. If you're not normally in New York, you usually are in New York. And the governor just came out and said they're going to lift that mask mandate. But they're still going to allow businesses to choose whether or not to implement them in their own place of business. Duh. But as far as the governor says, they're going to lift that. Is that immediate, or is there a time frame that this is going to take place in? I think this is supposed to take place in early March. My question is, why not start this tonight or tomorrow morning at 9:00? And in New Jersey, they got rid of the mask mandate for students, but that doesn't kick in until I think March 7th, which is almost a month away. I don't know why we're waiting that long. I suspect what's going to happen is the enforcement will get softer and softer, and officially, if it's on the books until early March, they'll just not push it quite as much. I even noticed I've been opposed to the masks on airplanes. That's just so irritating. I've been flying United the last couple of weeks, and they don't, they make the announcements, but I've not had people in the air, telling me, put your mask on, put your mask on. Yeah.
Maybe I think everyone realizes this is ridiculous. It's gone on for 2 years. You turn on the TV every day, there are Democrat politicians saying, wear your mask. And then they don't have their masks on. So I think the whole country's realizing, okay, time to let this thing go. And I think the enforcement's just going to get more lackadaisical until eventually these things just go away, and we either can, put them in the closet to look at them every now and then to remember this horror show. Maybe just have what I prefer is National Burn Your Mask and just set them all on fire.
Yeah.
Maybe about maybe like April Fool's Day might be a good day.
I'm ready to
March
do that.
1st.
I'm
set
ready.
them all on fire.
Burn
them.
In New York, I believe they're leaving the requirement in place for schools in the state of Illinois, which is where I'm working in St. Louis, Missouri, but I live in Illinois. Our governor is supposed to be speaking at 2:00, and the word is that he's going to lift our indoor mask mandate, but that it's going to stay in place for schools. He's being sued right now, and he's appealing it because he lost that ruling. And then the CDC just came out and said, people need to be able to choose what they want to do, but kids still have to wear masks. I mean, the only thing that makes sense to me in my head is that the teachers union is so incredibly powerful that our kids are suffering because of it, because it doesn't make sense that these kids can go into Walmart and go to, a movie theater and go to the arcade or wherever they're going and not wear masks, but in school that they have to, but yet they have to.
Yeah, as you were saying this, I was thinking to myself, why are the kids the only ones still being told to wear a mask? Well, it must be the teachers union, and teachers union, whatever the teachers union wants the teachers union gets from the Democrats, and I guess they're scared or they want more control, or maybe they figure that they can get more discipline out of kids if they're wearing masks or something like that. I mean, as we know through COVID since the beginning, that young people are the least likely to get it. When they get it, it tends to be mild. They don't spread it, so they seem like the first population to be told drop your mask should be the kids, with the adults coming later. Instead, it's the other way around. And the only explanation for that is not medical; it's political, and that is the Democrats, as usual, are eating out of the hands of the teachers unions, as usual.
It continues to be madness. Put a tent on the circus. Deroy, thank you.
Yes.
As always, we appreciate you being here, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Okay, Annie. Great to talk to you. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. Love talking to him. Quick break. When we come back, Blaine Wilhauer is going to join us. He is an Illinois State Representative for the 107th District. That's here downstate. And if you want to, I'm anticipating Pritzker is going to be speaking at 2:00. And I don't know if I have the stomach yet. I ate my oatmeal today, and I am prepared to listen to what JB Pritzker has to say. But I'm really going to need your help. I'm going to need your company for that. Because it's going to, I'm just anticipating, maybe he'll blow my mind, Brad. Maybe everything he says will be what we've been begging him to say for so long. Yeah?
Just don't hold your breath, okay?
Why? It's the most effective way because I'm not wearing a mask. Oh my gosh. It's just maddening. So we'll talk with Blaine Wilhauer when we come back. We're going to preface what's going to take place with JB Pritzker, and we're going to hear from Blaine Wilhauer what he says he's in state government. What's his advice for all of these parents who are in our region right now, who are wondering why is the rule for that kid different than the rule for my kid? Why does Governor Pritzker get to tell my kid to wear a mask, but not that kid to wear a mask? What kind of rules are these? We'll talk to Blaine Wilhauer about it in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Nobody else is reporting what we are. So if you want to make sure you're not missing the most important stuff, follow 97.1 on Facebook or Twitter. If you're lucky, they'll let you see a good 25% of it.
cajonesinc.com, that's the website. These beautiful homes that they're building. And when I say beautiful homes, and I could illustrate for you the stunning nature with which they finish these homes, you're probably thinking, that house isn't for me. No, they're building houses for people just like you. If you're looking for a home in the Metro East and you want somebody who is experienced, who understands working with you in a contract, is it going to make you jump through hoops, is going to adhere to the conversation and the agreement at hand, is it going to surprise you with big fat charges later on down the road? C.A. Jones. It's really that simple. I've been through multiple C.A. Jones homes. I've been through ranches. I've been through 2 stories, 2-car garages, 3-car garages. I've seen the layouts and the pictures and, virtually walk through even smaller homes. If you're looking to be a builder, if you want to build that first dream house that you want to make your home, C.A. Jones is it. They have customized solutions for all of your needs. They can do solar. They're super energy efficient, and they have the brightest, most brilliant usage of space that I have seen in homes. And I love looking at homes. If you're interested in building, or if you're just first step, in this process, go to cajonesinc.com. If you're a little bit further down the line and you know where you want to build and what you want to build, Call them and tell them you heard about them on the Annie Frey Show. CAJonesinc.com.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low 2.25% rate.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. Offset high prices with lower monthly payments or turn your home equity into cash.
Lock in this low rate while you can. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blues.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.336% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Guys, are you still looking for a great Valentine gift for your special someone? Then give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all. With soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas, available exclusively from Pajamagram.com. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own soft skin. She'll love slipping these on every night. They are so soft and luxurious, they'll melt away her stress. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. Best of all, every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, which means you don't have to wrap a thing. So get her naturally nude pajamas. Just go to Pajamagram.com or text the word GIFT, that's GIFT, to 41234. Again, text the word GIFT to 41234 to order naturally nude pajamas. It's fast, it's easy, and delivery by Valentine's Day is guaranteed.
Let's start off the new year with a new coat of paint. It's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and let's make 2022 the year you transform your home with some new colors and expert professional painting. CertaPro can make it happen, and the quality of the work will blow you away. One of my favorite parts of hiring CertaPro is I don't have to do the work myself. These are professional painters, and they can help you bring your vision of color to life. Schedule your free estimate today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When they gathered around and started talking, that's when Billy would take me walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes.
The science change politics. Right. And the political winds against masking of our children are now blowing so strongly that I think that a lot of these Democratic politicians can see that what's happened, and they want out from under these mask mandates. Parents are up in arms about them, and understandably so. Look, the trouble with this whole issue has been that the science that backs up masks for everybody has never been very strong. Yes. There have been only a couple of studies, and they were, basically inconclusive at best.
There is Britt Hume talking on Tucker Carlson today, not Tucker Carlson tonight, about what he says there at the beginning is it's not the science that's changed, it's the politics. The Democratic governor dominoes are falling all across the state, and we're waiting for our domino to fall here in the state of Illinois at 2:00 when Governor Pritzker is supposed to be speaking and making an update on the mask requirements for people in the state of Illinois. Now, I read to you this article headline from the Chicago Sun-Times from before. Masker aid, Pritzker expected to reveal plan Wednesday to allow Illinoisans to go barefaced indoors again. And just to make sure we have all the proper checks and balances on this show, we've got Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhauer, Illinois District 107 in Southern Illinois, back here on the show with us. Blaine, thank you so much for coming on with us. Good to talk to you again.
Hey, it's always good to be here. I appreciate it.
It's a great day in Illinois because their governor is going to allow us to go barefaced again. I just thought you would like to come on here and celebrate with me.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm maybe disappointing you a little bit. There's going to be a cause for not celebration here. So what the governor is going to do, if all of our sources are correct, and I think that they are, is he is going to end the mask mandate for everything and everybody except the K through 12 public schools in the state of Illinois, which is complete and utter nonsense. I mean, it defies every bit of logic, science, common sense, and everything else that we have here as Americans.
Is there any explanation for that decision outside of the teachers' unions?
No, there absolutely is. I mean, there are other explanations. Obviously, the teachers' unions are pushing this very, very hard. And unfortunately, in the state of Illinois, they control the purse strings to way too many politicians, both Democrat and Republican. But that's no excuse for J.B. Pritzker. He's got his own money. He doesn't need these people. What he's done is he's backed himself into such a corner on this stuff. You know, if the governor takes a loss on this, which he just needs to, I mean, he's lost it. He's lost the public on this. He's lost in the court system just in the last week. But if he takes a loss on it and goes home, it's basically he's going to have to admit that everything that he's been advocating for, everything he's been pushing for the last 2 years was all for nothing. All the pain and the punishment that we put small businesses through, that we put kids through, and everything else has been for nothing. And that's put politically, that's kind of difficult. But at the end of the day, a real leader would do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't need to be, like on the Republican side of the aisle or the Democrat side of the aisle to come up with the conclusion that you've just stated here, that we've gone through so incredibly much. We've sacrificed so incredibly much over the last 2 years. You can go to that Johns Hopkins study. We've talked about it many times on this show that shows that everything that we put in place shifted the mortality rate 0.2%, 0.2%. And in the process of that, drug overdoses are up over like 30%. Suicide is up. Childhood depression is up. I mean, all of the negative things, let alone, those are the things that are kind of topped here. We've also had businesses have to shutter their doors. We've had people lose their jobs. We've had people not be able to get back into the careers that they were in before and succeed the way they did before. And the worst of all, and I know you're a parent, I'm a parent, I think we have kids that are similar ages, watching your child go to school and have to wear a mask and get to the point where it's just kind of part of the deal. It's sickening as a mom, and I'm sure as a parent, as a dad yourself, you kind of feel that same way.
Oh, it absolutely is. You're right. I've been to the basketball games, the chin strap games. It's not even a mask. Complete insult. It's an insult to everybody's intelligence, and it's sending the exact wrong messages to all the kids. Is setting terrible precedents going forward that hey, we're just doing this to comply. We don't believe in this stuff. I mean, what are we really trying to do here? And just the fact that the governor is going to suspend this for everybody but kids in school, I don't know how he's going to explain that outside of the fact that he just lost in court last week and he impulsively, like a petulant child, went and immediately said that he's going to appeal it because he's a billionaire and he always gets his way. He's going to appeal it. So now he's in a corner where the public is clearly against him, and so now he's going to have to try to thread a needle at 2:00, saying that the only reason that we're not pulling these mandates back in our schools is because I kind of threw a fit and jumped the gun on this appeal here. So
you should write his speeches for him. That would be fun.
Yeah. No. Well, we're going to have an opportunity to do a little rebuttal. I'm on the way up to Springfield with State Rep Adam Niemerg, and we're meeting Senator Bailey up there, and we're gonna discuss and dissect this with the press at 3:00 at the state capitol. So it should be fun.
Perfect. Are you going to be streaming that or doing that on your Facebook pages?
Absolutely. It's you can go to the state rep Blaine Wilhauer. It'll be streaming there, and I think that Adam and Darren will probably have it as well. But there needs to be a legitimate pushback, and it's important to note that this has been a bipartisan problem. There's a lot of Johnny-come-latelys on this that want to do a victory lap about, people getting their freedom back. But, I think that we need to send a shout out to the people that have been doing this for the last 2 years, that were advocating for these policies, advocating for these freedoms, back when the governor was accusing us of advocating for policies that were letting people die. So it's easy to jump on the bandwagon now, but it's hard to take the bullets. It's not hard for me, but
that's why you're doing what you're doing. And you mentioned Adam Nieberg and Senator Darren Bailey. I just want people to know that there is common sense in Illinois government. You got to look a little harder to find it, but we've got a lot of it downstate, and we're going to expand that in November.
Yes, it's coming.
Yeah, let me ask.
Freight train's rolling.
Yes, honk honk, really. Do trains honk? I don't think they do. Choo choo or something. We're speaking with Blaine Wilhauer right now, Illinois' 107th district. I want to ask you. You brought up that lawsuit that Pritzker lost. It's important for people to understand, especially here in the Metro East, specifically Edwardsville, Collinsville. I think Alton, Granite City, Dupo are the ones that are off the top of my head have said that the court case came out and said plaintiff named only get to go mask free. So now we've created a scenario where there is a rule that applies to some kids under the law, what the judges said, but other kids don't necessarily have those same rights yet until the appeal comes through. What is your advice to these parents who want these masks off their children's faces so desperately, but they're afraid to go? They're good people. They're law-abiding people. They don't want to cause problems. They don't want to be in the midst of any type of conflict. But at the same time, their parental heart is aching, and they don't know what to do.
Well, it's time to stand up and push back. And the narrative that you're getting right there is simply not true. What they did decide in this case, what the judge says is that it's a violation of due process. And the ISB, the Illinois Department of Public Health, and the governor, everything that they're saying with these orders, she specifically said in the footnotes on that decision that these executive orders are null and void for everybody. Okay, it's not just the named people in there. She said specifically the people that are not named as plaintiffs, they go under this too. So, I don't know how much more authority or cover or anything that these school districts that are still holding out, I don't know what more that they need. I mean, they've literally got this ruling, and she made it a point to extend it past the people that are named in the suit. So, people have their rights. They need to exercise them. We've been trying to advocate and educate people to do that and give the courage and the encouragement and the pressure were necessary to do so. But these orders are null and void. Until an appellate court says something different, that's where we stand right now, and that's in these school districts, and it's incumbent upon them to grow a spine and stand up for the kids. At the end of the day, every one of these administrators, almost everyone that you talk to, if they had to make the decision on their own, just based off what they think is in the best interest of the kids, it's a slam dunk every day of the week.
Yep.
But the only thing, politics and, covering your rear end and everything else is getting in the way, and that's unacceptable. That's not why we went to Springfield. And, we're not going to stand by and just let that stuff happen. Because if you stand by and let it happen, it'll happen. That's the problem we've been in for years.
Blaine, I know a lot of parochial schools, Catholic schools, Lutheran schools, non-denominational schools who have previously, you would assume, being a non-public school, there's no tax dollars that are going to that. There's a free lunch program that's been extended to a lot of these schools right now, but they've been afraid to step out because they have had their accreditation threatened. Specifically, over the course of the last 2 years, if they don't go along with these mandates, Governor Pritzker has said, we're going to pull your accreditation from your school. So he spooked them into going against the grain and saying, we're going to go to mask recommended. Like you said, that narrative that exists out there that if you're not a named plaintiff, this does not apply to you. What do you say specifically to these schools that are not public schools, where people have chosen to spend additional money and tuition dollars at these ulterior places of education that are privately funded, who are still scared of doing something that's going to cause them to, worst case scenario, lose their state accreditation?
Well, for one, there is an actual process that's statutory. It's been laid out by the legislature. The governor is required to follow, and the State Board of Education is required to follow. They can't unilaterally make those decisions without hitting several parameters that are a very, 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 very high bar, and the courts have ruled in our favor on that one as well. My home school district right there in Beecher City, Illinois. It's a town of 500 or so. They haven't donned a mask all year, and not a darn thing's happened to them because they had a board that had the courage to, stand up and fight this stuff and say that these people are outside of their authority, and the court system agreed with them. So I'm sick and tired of hearing the excuses from private schools, public schools, administrators, and everything else, the reasons why we can't do what we think is right. I don't know how much more cover we can give these people. I don't know how much more education that we can give, encouragement and everything else. At some point, you got to get off your butt and do the things that need to be done. You got to take a stand for your kids. And, as parents and as administrators and everything else, sometimes we got to take risks. For what's in the best interest of our kids, if we really believe that's the case. And I think you'll find if you do that, there's a lot of people out there that agree with you. There's a lot of judges out there that respect the rule of law and agree with us on this. And if they want to tie this up in the legal process, we'll tie it up in the legal process. We can play that game too. And we've done it very, very well for the people who have chosen to stand up.
And like you mentioned, there's a lot of administrators out there and teachers and people who are associated, who are really on ground zero for these kids right now, who do agree as well. It's just a lot of pressure and a lot of stress for everybody.
Yep.
And you're right. You said it. It takes risks, and they're risks worth taking, especially when they're for our kids.
Absolutely.
Blaine, thank you for the time today. We'll be tuning into your Facebook broadcast. Go find Blaine Wilhauer on Facebook, find his page and like it and see what he and his Republican cohorts are going to say at 3:00 after J.B. Pritzker speaks at 2. I can't wait to see his victory lap. I'm going to need you to be the chaser for that shot.
Yeah, we can do that.
At 3:00. Blaine, we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Illinois State District 107, Southern Illinois, represents that district very well. And I know him and have enjoyed watching him just do it's just like, oh, this is in Illinois. This is fantastic. Adam Niemerg, who is down there, who took Darren Bailey's seat when he left the House. Fantastic. Darren Bailey, obviously in the state Senate, fantastic, running for governor as well, among other people. Everybody who's in this race right now in the Republican Party would be a million, billion, bazillion times better than J.B. Pritzker. 2:00, we're 18 minutes away from finding out what Governor Pritzker is going to allow us to do. Brace yourself. Come watch the YouTube page, the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and bear with me, man. We got to know what he says. It's my job. This should come with hazard pay, but I don't know that it will. Would love your company. Join us on the live chat, and we'll take in what he says in a little bit. We'll be back with more Annie Frey Show in just a second. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Watching a little bit of the Olympics. Why does it look like they're doing this in the middle of a nuclear power plant?
You can see them in the background.
And I was just like, I was like, why does it look like they're in like hellscape?
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
It's Mark Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and let's talk about managed network versus cybersecurity. That's ThrottleNet's answer to the never-ending challenges that business owners face waging war against outside attacks, intrusion, and data breaches. If your IT support is not talking about cybersecurity and providing layers of defense, it's time to change. ThrottleNet clients have never paid ransom, and they're prepared for full recovery after being hit with a ransomware attack. And I've got a great offer for you. ThrottleNet is so confident of their superior customer service, they'll give you the first 30 days of service for free. If you decide to leave ThrottleNet in those first 30 days, they'll pay you $1,000 for your trouble. On top of that, they never lock you in to a long-term contract. And how about this for some proof from the business community? ThrottleNet has been awarded Small Business Monthly Best IT Company for 6 years in a row and voted number 1 all 6 years. Get started today. Go to throttlenet.com/971. That's throttlenet.com/971.
This station is now conducting a test of
If your home needs an upgrade, don't get frustrated, get solutions. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design to transform your space into the home of your dreams. Our custom carpentry work has been wowing homeowners for over 20 years. Whether you want a deck or porch, a gorgeous sunroom, a remodeled basement, or more, our award-winning team does it all with in-house skilled carpenters. We even stand behind our work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
Hi, this is Lance Deroy with the Lance Deroy Law Firm in St. Louis. I meet regularly with people who haven't filed tax returns in years. Did you know that if you have unfiled tax returns, you can be subject to jail time? That's right. The maximum penalty can be 1 year of jail. The maximum penalty can be 1 year of jail time for every year of unfiled returns. So liens, wage garnishments, and bank levies should be the least of your worries if you have unfiled returns. Instead, you should get straight with the IRS and file those returns as soon as possible. Call the Lance Deroy Law Firm today and meet with me. Together, we can resolve your tax problems before it comes to a prison sentence. Don't worry about not having records or receipts. The Lance Deroy Law Firm can help you find the information you need to get the returns prepared and filed. As an attorney, I am trained to put pieces of your tax puzzle together for you. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
How do you let your partner know that you're in the mood? We here at Roman have heard that some folks use code words to tell their partner that they're ready. Let's say you're at a crowded restaurant on Valentine's Day.
The food is great, but I feel like we should go feed the cat.
Oh, yeah, we should. So whatever you call it, be ready this Valentine's Day with Roman. Roman helps you take care of ED as conveniently and discreetly as a code word. So when the moment's right, you're ready. Consult with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional today at getroman.com/feed it.
Odyssey's Black History Month tribute spotlights incredible Black artists who have contributed their music to the world. Hear music from Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye West, and more. Search for Black voices and inspiration on the Odyssey app to listen. That's AUDACY.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years with a $53 special offer. If you're having problems with your heating system or just need it checked for a limited time, get either service for only $53. To get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Lying in my bed, hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
One night, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
If
you seem good.
Stay offline.
Yeah.
It's just real life.
Yeah.
You just have to stay offline.
And real life is people who know you, and you're a great guy.
Yeah, you just, life goes on as normal.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways, like, all this is a relief. Because it's like, just because that video had always been out there.
Right.
It's like, this is a political hit job. And so they're taking all this stuff that I've ever said that's wrong and smushing it all together.
Right.
But it's good because it makes me address some that I really wish wasn't out there.
So Joe Rogan coming out and saying that the video that has streamed together him saying, like, you know, the most offensive word ever over and over and over again. I haven't watched it. I don't really want to watch it. I don't need to watch it. I understand what it is. I don't need to watch it to see that it's real. him saying that it's kind of a relief. Interesting that he says this is all a political hit job. Interesting that he admits that right there. And when I look at what Joe Rogan has weathered the storm, how he's weathered the storm so far, I don't know that it's going to continue to be the issue that people wanted it to be, because I think, Brad, when cancel culture strikes, people have the people who can do the canceling, they got to hit fast. It's got to be the immediate reaction.
Yeah, they got to hit fast, they got to hit hard, and they got to get results. Otherwise, people, it's like they lose interest. They're
Then
like,
you start rationalizing things and thinking about context and going, I don't know if we really need, what do we need to do here? What Joe Rogan has done, he's come out and he's apologized. He's said that's the word he said was that it was shameful and to have all of this stuff out there. And he's issued an apology. I saw some people being mad that he apologized. Why in the world would we be mad that he apologized for saying a bunch of things that were, yes, blatantly offensive that you shouldn't say? This is what it's about. It's about being able to make mistakes and be redeemed for them. And the only way that can happen is with remorse and a forgiving public. We don't have that anywhere, but we might be having it right now in this moment. I said the same thing about Whoopi Goldberg. I said I didn't want her to get canceled. I wanted her to learn her lesson very much so in public so that she could show remorse for what she said and we could forgive her. That's how you really move on. If we just cancel her, if we collectively, rally around bringing her down and canceling her from ABC so we don't have to see her on The View anymore. Oh, stop it. You're not watching The View to begin with. It's going to affect your life zero because we don't watch The View. The people who want to cancel her don't watch The View. The people who want to cancel Joe Rogan don't listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. Or maybe they do because they're gluttons, but that's a weird type of thing to be into. When I'm saying don't cancel Whoopi Goldberg, what I'm saying is bring her back. Use it as an opportunity for her to be remorseful, pay the necessary penance, and then the American people go, we can exhale now. We've gone through this. We can be stronger about the way we address these things because this was put out into the world and we all learned our lesson. Now, I know it. I know you're going, Annie, that's never going to happen. Well, it might not happen. But if it doesn't happen that way, the thing that rests my heart is not going, then cancel her, then kick her off so that I can feel good for 0.2 seconds. That doesn't help anything. Truly, Whoopi Goldberg's existence on The View affects my life zero. Canceling her affects my life zero. Her being able to go back on The View and own her mistake, be honestly remorseful for it, and learn that lesson in front of the world will potentially cause some good to happen in the world. Canceling her just makes the next opportunity to cancel somebody on our side, which will be like, I don't know, in 5 minutes probably, just makes that be the next thing that happens. Knowing that is always going to be the status quo, it makes me feel differently about it. And I'm not terribly interested in being a part of it. And I don't think that the eye for an eye thing, it's just not my style. I'm not naive about it. It's not like I think if we conservatives allow Whoopi Goldberg to remain on The View because we're so generous and we're such a forgiving people, now maybe next time the ragey mob left is going to say, you know what, remember Whoopi Goldberg though? They really handled that with grace. We should they're not going to do that. I know they're not going to do that, but I don't give a crap what they're going to do. It doesn't dictate what I'm going to do. Why would we not do the right thing when we have the opportunity to do the right thing?
Let's explore that thought a little bit too. Do you if we're like the argument is that they're not going to look at us and say, well, look at how gracious they were. Maybe we'll be gracious next time. That's not what they're going to do. But if we look at, if we rage and we make sure that everybody's kicked off and whatever, and we act the same way they do, they're not going to look at that and say, oh, look what they did to us last time. We better not do it again. Right? They're going to take the same approach. The ragey, angry, cancel mob left is going to be the ragey, angry, cancel mob left. It doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not going to influence those people to act differently. You know who we are going to influence? The people who are quietly sitting in the fray, who have put themselves outside of the line of fire because they think that we all look like childish babies, and they are right sometimes. Those people right now, they're leaning into what is happening in the world. They're leaning into who's making my kid wear a mask in school, who's telling me how I have to behave, who's telling me what I can do, where I can go, and how I can do it. Those guys over there, well, what are these guys over here doing? And if you become the generation of people who are like, well, I think what Whoopi Goldberg said was absolutely horrendous. I mean, she's entirely wrong because of what she said. She should apologize. And if you go through that whole process, those people who are in the gray of the black and white world that we live in this moment, I think that there are plenty of people out there right now who would tune into that. I was just having a conversation with a very, very, what I would call very leftist friend of mine in the last 24 hours who saw what Pritzker was going to do. And he was just so beside himself. He's like, this is 100% political. And he said, he goes, I have no party. I have no party. He's a Democrat. He's somebody who's voted Democrat. He's supported Democrats. And he's telling me right now, I have no party. He needs to have something that he looks at on the other side that stands for something. You know people like this. You might be this. You might be somebody who's listening to this show because you get sick and tired of hearing the same 10 songs being played over and over again. So you've tuned in, and I am not particularly annoying to make you turn off the radio. Maybe some days are better than others. And you kind of found yourself here and you feel comfortable. Thank you for being here. I don't care where you sit on the political spectrum. I don't care if you're the most lefty leftist that's ever been. I don't care if you are the furthest right winger that's ever walked the face of the planet. What we like to do is have conversations, and we like to bring people in and have calm, collective conversations because we are grown-ups. And I say grown-ups because I'm around a bunch of children all the time, and I have to remind myself sometimes that I am of age. And then I have a small drink. Same. I work very hard to facilitate these conversations, and I know that there are people out there right now who are looking at this squad-led Democratic Party, far left progressive version of a Democratic Party that they don't recognize, and they think that the word Republican is a 4-letter word, and they're not interested in being Republican, but they know that the party that's represented them in the past doesn't exist anymore. Make sure you have the opportunity to tell them what the Republican Party stands for. And don't do it in a way that makes you feel like, well, I'm not a Republican, but I'm conservative. Stand for something, because if you're a Republican, you get to define what that means for you. Nobody else does. And we stand for some really cool stuff, and they need to know it. And you need to be prepared to tell them. Stick around. We're going to hear from J.B. Pritzker in a minute. Oh, my gosh. We'll be right back.
Time after time. Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
It is $158. Donate your card to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Make sure that you stick around because JB Pritzker's update on the mask mandate coming up in just a minute right here on the Annie Frey Show.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage. As we go into a new year, it is a great time to get started on a new home loan. If you've been thinking about a cash-out refinance to pay off debt or update your home, act now while equity is at an all-time high and interest rates are still at historic lows. Maybe it's the year that you're going to reduce your term or get rid of the dreaded PMI. Perhaps this is the year that you buy a new home. Call me now so you can shop with confidence. When you call, there will be no gimmicks or sales pitch, just straightforward, upfront information on refinancing and home buying options. So call me today, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224143, NMLS 250353.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Public establishments like restaurants.
We hit our peak on January 7th, but now we've witnessed a 93% drop in cases. We are now below February 8th with 6,000 cases.
Though a restaurant or even a local government could require masks, says Governor Kathy Hochul, but students will still be required to wear them.
Adults can make their own decision. Children still need adults to look out for their health.
Hochul says after spring breaks, parents should have kids COVID tested and report results to schools. Eben Brown, Fox News.
New York City already emphasizing its COVID mandates remain in place. At least 2 other states, California and Illinois, are also keeping masks in schools for now, but several others won't require them beginning later this month, leaving school decisions up to local officials. As the White House prepares for possible FDA approval of Pfizer's vaccine for younger kids.
This vaccine is specifically formulated for these young kids. We're launching a new program specially for kids under 5.
But White House response coordinator Zients says they know many parents have questions. Police in the nation's capital responding to multiple bomb threats again today, with some schools evacuated a day after the vice president's husband had to evacuate a D.C. school. The FBI and ATF investigating. A law enforcement source suspects the threats, like others, against historically Black colleges and universities last week may be related to Black History Month. A police officer in the small town of Hemingway, South Carolina, now charged with voluntary manslaughter for shooting and killing an unarmed motorist Sunday. Investigators say he was shot as he tried to run from his car after a high-speed chase and crash. America is listening to Fox News.
When you order your Walgreens prescriptions with same-day delivery, it's possible you'll experience some side effects. Side effects may include joy that you won't run out of your pills, and disbelief at just how crazy fast the delivery came right to your door. Get your same-day prescription refill today on the Walgreens app.
To use same-day RX delivery or 1 to 2 business day delivery, you must be opted into prescription status alerts. It will appear as an option if orders before that store's cutoff time for the day. Certain health plans do not cover or participate in same-day RX delivery. Check with your health plan for further details. Excludes California.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your symptoms, your work from home sweatpants, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. That's really none of our business, because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, who's that from? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly sunny skies in play as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. I think the winds are going to kick up a little bit on us from the northwest, where we should be hanging around 50 degrees much of the afternoon hours until we get closer to sunset. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, 27. Thursday, sunny. It's a colder day, 39, 40, but we're back up to 52 for the high on Friday, but colder over the weekend. Up and down, up and down. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're in the car, 97.1 is here to help you make time. with dependable traffic every weekday with Sue Thomas.
Road work will continue 270 at Lindbergh, and they'll have a lane down in each direction.
Sue Thomas and dependable traffic.
We did have a report of a possible vehicle fire.
Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, your solution to in-home traffic.
Both look great from out west into downtown.
Every weekday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group waiting for you to set up your appointment so that you can get your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review done with the very best that St. Louis has to offer, and that's Thomas Helbig. When you talk to Thomas Helbig, he is going, first of all, he's probably going to tell you that he's never had a client lose a penny. That gives you a lot of confidence, right? Going forward, he's worked with so many Annie Frey Show listeners, and you need to be the next one to reach out to him. You can schedule your appointment by calling 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, and sit down with him, talk to him about your situation, your circumstances, and he's going to set you up to make sure that since you have retirement right around the corner, that you don't have to worry. A worry-free retirement, that's kind of the whole goal, isn't it? And making sure that your financial situation is set up and is predictable is definitely part of that worry-free retirement. 314-993-9494. You can visit him online at his website at retirementkey.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Start the new year on a better foot. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's 207. Donate your car to Goodwill and get your 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Right now, we are going to tune into Governor J.B. Pritzker's live update of the COVID-19 mitigations he's put in place. We invite you to follow along with us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're going to be watching and commenting along with you there. Let's listen into what the governor has to say.
Our approach has saved lives and kept our economy open and growing. Today, 3 weeks past the peak, and thanks to the precautions our residents have taken, from Chicago to Carbondale, the heightened emergency of Omicron has been consistently subsiding. We are now seeing the fastest rate of decline in our COVID-19 hospitalization metrics since the pandemic began. Our daily total of COVID patients in the hospital has fallen from over 7,300 to about 2,500 today, a 66% drop. The daily total of COVID patients requiring ICU care has also seen a 63% drop. We now have 20% of our ICU beds available statewide, up from a low of just under 8% only 4 weeks ago. Vaccines work. Masks work. And as a result of them and the tremendous commitment of our state's residents, we are on track to come out on the other side of this latest COVID storm in better shape than even the doctors expected. If these trends continue, and we expect them to, then on Monday, February 28th, we will lift the indoor mask requirement for the state of Illinois. I want to be clear, many local jurisdictions, many businesses and organizations have their own mask requirements and other mitigations that must be respected. Doing what's right in your private business or for your local communities is encouraged. Whether you're a business, a township, a venue, a place of worship, or a city, to name just a few examples, protecting your patrons and visitors is no doubt a high priority. Masks continue to be a very effective way to keep your establishment from experiencing an outbreak or spreading the disease. The lifting of those who choose to wear masks, establishment from experiencing an outbreak or spreading the disease. The lifting of those who choose to wear masks, Remember that whether we remove masks or not, COVID-19 has not gone away. There are so many Illinoisans who need to protect themselves from the virus more than others. And many more of us who gladly put on our masks, not so much for ourselves, but for our elderly neighbor, for our immunocompromised aunt, for the toddlers for whom there is not.
We seem to be having technical difficulty. I'm having technical difficulty with this man, basically providing us our permissions. We need to make sure we're going to follow up on the actual details of what he's saying there. But he's listing to us all the reasons why we should still wear masks. He's making the same case that he was making. Essentially, we could have been making this choice the whole time, right? Do we have it back, Brad? All right, let's go back. Let's go back to it.
Right now, 2.9 million Illinoisans are eligible to get a booster shot, but haven't gotten around to it. If that's someone you know, reach out and encourage them to take that next step. And of course, it's never too late to start the vaccination conversation with someone you love. Yesterday, approximately 7,000 Illinoisans got the COVID-19 vaccine for the very first time. Find a vaccine location near you at vaccines.gov. I also want to take a moment to address our schools. In-person learning in a healthy environment is what's best for our children. School outbreaks impact hundreds. And there are a whole lot more infections when districts are maskless. Schools are unlike most other environments. There are far lower vaccination rates for school-aged children than adults, higher exposure on a daily basis to younger children who aren't yet vaccine eligible, and more difficulty maintaining distance in hallways and gyms and classrooms. The equation for schools just looks different right now than it does for the general population. Schools need a little more time for community infection rates to drop, for our youngest learners to become vaccine eligible, and for more parents to get their kids vaccinated. The protocols and tools that we've been using thus far have worked to keep schools open, and they've done it because we have masks and testing and vaccines. Remember that our goal is to maintain a healthy in-person learning environment for kids, teachers, and staff, and to protect all parents and grandparents who interact with our schools, and to avoid adaptive pauses and remote learning. Schools are open and should remain open. Protecting everyone in a school community, their education and their health, is our highest priority. In the coming weeks, it's my hope and expectation that we will continue making progress to a place where we can remove school masking requirements and keep kids in schools. So I want to thank you, and now I'd like to turn it over to our stellar state's top doctor, and that's Dr. Ngozi Ezike.
Yeah, I'm not sticking around for that. I am just so incredibly livid with this crap. His answer, his whole thing here is he's listing out the things that he's done to this state to suggest that we are very near February 28th. It is February 9th. What the hell is going to happen between now and February 28th that's going to stop something that is now endemic? This guy, he says that if you have a friend who has not quite gotten the booster yet, and you know this, that you should go talk to them and encourage them to do so. So let me get this straight, Governor Pritzker. If I notice that somebody has a health concern that they may not be addressing, I'm supposed to go up to them and start talking about it? Is that what you're suggesting?
Airplanes, trains,
this is madness.
Subways.
This is straight up tyrannical crap. There's nothing about science that goes along with this. And you know how you know? Because you look all over the rest of the country. We have 50 test kitchens all over this country right now who have done different things. And J.B. Pritzker has been one of the worst tyrants in the midst of all of this. He has been one of the worst when it comes to telling you which freedoms he's going to permit you to have and when you get to have them. Those aren't freedoms. He treats you like he's your child. You hand some extra freedoms out to your teenagers when they've showed that they're mature enough that they can go about their business, maybe with the car keys, maybe with a cell phone, maybe with just a few friends, maybe with a lot of friends, maybe with a boy or maybe with a girl. Once they've proven to you that they're responsible enough to do that, you let them go try that out. And if they don't behave the way they're supposed to, if they don't act responsibly in the way that you permit, guess what you do? You take the car keys back as fast as you can, if you're a good parent. The problem is that J.B. Pritzker isn't our parent. We're in charge of him. And he's taken our kids and he said that our kids, who are the least likely to be negatively affected by COVID, the least. He said our kids have to have masks on, and you and I both know that the only reason why that's the case is because the teachers' unions have his hands tied. He needs as much support as he possibly can get in November because he's a disaster of a governor for a state that has gone nowhere but south since he's taken over. No election was called faster on election day, November, 3.5 years ago. No election was called faster than him. I was in this studio, sitting in this very seat. No, I lied. I wasn't even here yet. I walked into the studio to cover that election night. And before I got from the door to where Ryan Wiggins is standing right now, and I look at the TV screen and they're calling this election for Governor Pritzker. What in the world, folks? You want to live another 4.5 years under this kind of ridiculousness? Then vote this Yahoo back into the governor's office. Not the mansion, because the mansion's in Springfield, and I don't even think he knows where Springfield is on the freaking map because he stays his butt in Chicago so he can be by his horse farm in Wisconsin where he has to go take care of the horses, yes, when he doesn't want to wear his mask, just like all of his rest of his Democrat friends who go out and do what they want and eat fancy meals, go to big sporting events and take their mask off when they want. And they have the balls to tell us that they are going to hold their breath while they're taking pictures with Magic Johnson. I'll hold my breath if Magic Johnson wants to take a picture with me. I'm also not going to have a mask in my pocket when I get done taking a picture with Magic Johnson because I know it's silly. You know it's silly. I know it's silly. We don't. This is so much more than mask wearing. This is so much more than COVID. Are we going to continue in this state to wait for the governor to give us our freedoms back? These aren't freedoms. He's telling us right now that he's going to allow us to do something on February 28th. And I mean, Ryan, didn't he say, like, if everything goes according to plan? He didn't even commit to this.
Yeah, that's almost 3 weeks away.
Good grief. Good grief. What is the state of Illinois going to do? I don't care who you support in this governor race. Whoever's going to challenge J.B. Pritzker, I'm telling you right now, on February 9th, whoever wins that primary is a million times better than J.B. Pritzker. And don't get caught up believing otherwise. I was no Bruce Rauner fan. I called him out on things that I thought were a travesty to his representation of the Republican Party in the governorship. But I supported Rauner he came on our show knowing very well that we did not support a lot of the things he did. People didn't want to vote for Rauner because which is what my biggest concern with him was. He said before he ran that he was pro-choice. He said, I'm pro-choice, but I'm not going to govern on this issue. I'm going to keep my hands off. And then he put into place multiple things that caused Illinois to progress being pro-abortion. That's hypocritical and crap. Governor J.B. Pritzker has made Illinois the most pro-abortive state in the entire country. Would we be better right now for that particular issue, which was unforgivable for me if Bruce Rauner had been governor for the last 4 years? Yes, it would have been better. We have great options out there in the Republican primary right now. You better know their names. And if you like one of them and you want one of them to win that primary, you better be out there supporting them. Now, you don't have any time because this governor, he's got all the time he needs. He's got all the money you could ever possibly imagine. I mean, like Scrooge McDuck kind of money. And he is going to use it to put flowery ads out all over across the state about how he led this state with mitigations, with regulations, with rules that got us to a place where we are on the safe side of COVID. But all of these other states have been doing this without these rules and mitigations, and they're doing better than we are. What is wrong with us? Illinois, snap out of it. If you're afraid of taking your mask off, just know you don't have to drive but a couple of hours to go to a whole bunch of places who haven't been wearing masks for how long? I mean, seriously, you've been to Florida. They're not wearing masks there. They haven't been since like before June of 2020.
I was going to say, it was probably mid 2020.
June. I went there because my brother-in-law lives in like near Amelia Island. And we literally said on Thursday, let's go, or I think on Wednesday, let's go on Friday. Because Florida had decided to open up, and we got in the van and we drove. And they've been that way this whole time, and they are doing infinitely better than we are. There's no proof here. He's got not a leg to stand on, and he hasn't even given you your rights back yet. If he has to give them to you, they are not your rights. You're being permitted. It is an incredibly, incredibly different thing, and it is un-American. You want to react now or you want to react after the break?
I'm not a Pritzker fan.
No, I didn't persuade you otherwise.
That's the gist of what I have to say. So, yeah, I would love to react on the other side of this. That'd be great. Because the logic itself. Go ahead.
I'm so mad.
Go ahead. You got about 3 minutes. I'll introduce you if need be.
Like a dog. I got really excited. Now I need to go outside.
Just open the window.
I don't think it opens. Man, you have 4 babies. You got to take this stuff seriously.
I hear you. I think.
Boys. You should play the music now.
Okay. It's let's come back and just talk about the logic.
How about we come back? You guys both live in the state of Illinois. You react, and I will do everything I can to not talk.
You just stay in the bathroom. We'll just take it over.
It won't take that long.
Okay.
All right. I'll be right back. Things. And Ryan, when we come back, Brad as well. Brian, if you will. Don't go away.
And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
My verses still be serving, tight like a million.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. History looks back on times like this. Where do you stand? 97.1 FM Talk is here to spotlight what would otherwise be left in the dark. Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the award-winning Fresh Air with NPR's Terry Gross.
Kieran Culkin, welcome. I love the show.
I'm engaged and I care about these characters. I don't like them, but I care to see what happens with them.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
Let's start off a new year with a new coat of paint. This is Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and let's make 2022 the year you transform your home or business with some new colors and expert professional painting. CertaPro can make it happen, and the quality of the work will blow you away. One of my favorite parts of hiring CertaPro is I don't have to do the painting myself. These are professional painters. They can help you bring your vision of color to life. Get started today with a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll love is easy at Diamonds Direct this Valentine's. With an expanded selection of designer jewelry and our best offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Your love is always our passion at Diamonds Direct, but especially on Valentine's Day. So we're holding nothing back. Pick any item, get our best value price, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest financing. Everything's included. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, pendants, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course, the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. And this weekend, we're also showcasing all new collections from our top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, and others. No matter what you choose for the one you love, you'll get the best price and 5 years, 0 interest financing. We're even open this Sunday with special pregame shopping hours 11 to 4. Get more details and even shop online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Unapproved credit.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I have to go to see your beautiful face anymore. I stare at a picture of you and listen to the radio. Hope there's a conversation. We both admit we had it good. But until then, it's alienation. I know that much.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I realize if you ask me how I'm doing, I would say I'm doing just
If you asked me how I was doing, I'd say I was doing just fine.
Good. Glad to hear that. Feeling good?
I feel better now
Good.
that I took
Feel
care
relieved?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, what a relief it is.
I'm really worked up. It doesn't sound like it right now. Rewind on the Odyssey app, though. And I got a few things off my chest. I got so excited and angry that I had to take a potty break in that break there. And I said when we came back that I'm going to sit back and I'm going to let Ryan and Brad, also Illinois residents, react to what we understand from J.B. Pritzker's announcement just now, which is that if you are all good boys and girls, he's going to allow you to go unmasked on February 28th, but not you kids. You keep wearing masks. The judge is going to take care of that. What do you think, Ryan?
The most important thing here of all of this press conference included, but also the last 2 years, is that he absolutely does not legally have the authority to do this and has not since the first 30 days of I keep calling it an executive order. It wasn't even an executive order. It was an emergency order. And the point of that is that it can only last 30 days. So he's been running an end around actual law ever since the first 30 days and creating new 30-day emergencies over and over and over. That's the whole point of having them for 30 days is to give the legislature time to act on an emergency. And if that was that much of an emergency, they had plenty of time to do it. You got super majorities all around you. You can do anything you want.
You wanted to do it in 60 days or in a year or in 18 months or in almost 2 years.
At this point, you have had 2 years of emergency orders that you could have done this. He does not have the legal authority to do this. The courts are catching up to it. I don't know what the appeals are going to look like. All of the courts, I shouldn't say all the courts. A lot of the courts are people who are picked by these people. So they're going to agree with them regardless of what the Constitution and the law says. Unfortunately, we, the people, have to follow the law, even if our elected officials are not going to. That's the point I want to make. Now, there's a whole bunch of other points to be made, but that to me is the most important.
Bradley?
I don't think I'm going to get as worked up as you do, but like to dovetail on what Ryan was saying there, if we don't have a law, then we don't have a country.
Ryan gets worked up? Because I mean,
no.
Or
As
me?
you get worked up. But if we don't have law, we don't have anything. And what the governor's doing is illegal. But I think, like you mentioned, and both of you mentioned this, they've had ample amount of time to pass laws to get past this emergency order and make it a law, but they haven't done it, which means that our state legislatures, the people that we elected to represent us, have not been representing us. They have allowed J.B. Pritzker to run roughshod over the Illinois Constitution and over our freedoms and our liberties, and they didn't do it because they know that if they did back him, which they have to because it's a Democratic supermajority, they feel like they have to back him. They couldn't come out and vote it down, but they also know that it's incredibly unpopular. They know that they would get slaughtered. I think that they need to pay for this in the polls come November. There's no representative in the legislature that should get off scot-free unless they were actively pushing back against these mandates, or at the very least trying to make them legal. But if they just stood back and they didn't do anything, they own it, they wear it, hold them responsible. And then the other part of this is I was pulling audio this morning and I don't remember the cut, but I had to pull it because I was watching as a father from Naperville. And he's talking about his daughter's reaction to this stuff. And
Let's listen to it.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'll play it right here.
Maybe.
The past 2 years have been shameful as the district has been busy lauding themselves while they enact policies that have absolutely been devastating to her growth. We have seen 2 years of almost no growth, missed goals removed. Her team is doing everything that they can. We've hired specialists. She still loves school. My 10-year-old daughter has kept these feelings to herself about how much she desperately wants to take her mask off. When we told her that it may be possible on Monday, she cried, tears. She jumped up and down. She told us that she was so excited that people may finally be able to understand her. You have harmed her so much with this. Everybody talks about everybody's got to be safe. Everybody's got to have everything. And we've left so many children behind.
These are just kids, guys. They're kids. And we've talked all of this nonsense about how it's for their own good, how we're following the science, how they're doing this, how they're doing that. And when you look at what science has revealed, we don't need to do any of it. I mean, the Johns Hopkins study says that all the mitigation efforts that we put in is 0.2%. It didn't matter a hill of beans. And then this guy's talking about his 10-year-old daughter. And I'm not an emotional person, but I was welling up initially when I watched this. this is a dad who loves his daughter, who's trying to do what's best for him, and he's seeing the people that are saying they're there to help her fail her, harm her, hold her back, and ruin her. And that's what we've done to countless kids across here by just letting this go. And I'm just so incredibly disappointed in leadership. And I'm also disappointed in people that didn't speak out, that didn't say anything. I understand the go along to get along attitude, but whenever, like the saying is, the only thing that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing.
You should never, ever have to, and in this one or any other one, you should never have to mandate or force anybody to do anything in a pandemic, because by its nature, people will be afraid of it. If this is the Black Death, this is the plague, people will do anything they can to avoid it. But in this one, you've had an environment where the media has controlled all the messaging and tried to make everybody as afraid as possible. And they still haven't, even with the virus, succeeded in doing that. So they've used mandates to try to create more and more compliance. That should never be the case with any pandemic ever, because people will naturally react to it based on the facts.
So the direction, especially when I am seething right now. When I get really worked up about this, my brain immediately goes to, all right, you're emotional about this, but what are you going to do about it? And that's the question you got to ask yourself. It's a question I'm asking myself. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to scoop some folks here. I'm going to have a flyer to share probably tomorrow. But next Tuesday from 3:30 to 5:30, put that on your calendar and make sure you understand your local school district. What is your local school district doing? And I'm not talking to the parents. I am talking to the parents, but I'm not just talking to parents who have been very engrossed in this. Listening to that father from Naperville. I mean, that's raw emotion. That's honestly the type of emotion that you've been holding in for so long. You go to a school board meeting and you start to talk and you don't realize that you're that emotional about it until you start talking and you're like, come on, stay strong, get your message through. Don't do this. Don't get too emotional, but you can't help it because it's that emotional. It's that important. There are so many school districts right now in the state of Illinois who have decided to go mask recommended. It's the right thing to do. It's the lawful thing to do. And those districts need to be championed for choosing the right thing. There are other districts who have not made that choice, and they need to be peacefully encouraged to do that for those kids, to support mask choice. So I am going to be participating in what is being put together right now, is being put together by these grassroots organizations that exist all across the state, the entire state, north to south, where these districts, these groups have been working tirelessly to try to get to the point where we have this ruling from the judge that says that the governor does not have the authority to do this, and in fact called it a certain kind of evil. Her word, evil. Tuesday, February 15th, from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m., I'm going to participate in this event that is being organized by these grassroots groups across the state. I'm going to go to my local school district, and I hope to stand side by side with so many parents, students, taxpayers who want to see the smiles on the face of these children during the school day. It is a rally to support the school districts that have chosen the right thing and to encourage positively, in a peaceful way, to encourage these school districts to choose the right thing, to follow the law, to understand that, yes, he's the governor of the state of Illinois, but he is acting outside of his authority, and it is hurting our children. Personally, I don't know that I could send my kids into a situation where I felt like they were disobeying the rules and having to handle that on their own. That's my choice for my kids. And honestly, that's what this is all about. Your choice for your kids, that's up to you. 3:30 to 5:30, Tuesday, February 15th, at your local school district office, a peaceful assembly where we say, show us those smiles. We want to see the smiles. That's it. That's all there is to it. We don't need to make demands. We don't need to be disruptive, but we do need to show that we are the majority. And the majority can't just be left to the parents who have been tirelessly fighting. You pay taxes. You have a vested interest in an educated public. I mean, you do. Your money goes there. And if you see this taking place, if your grandkids are having to deal with this, or if they've had to deal with this and your district has said, we're going mask recommended, they should be championed for that. They should be celebrated for that. And we need to show up in mass. And that's why these organizations are putting this together. And that's why I'm going to be participating in it. My taxes go to the Edwardsville School District. The Edwardsville School District has chosen not to allow kids not named in that court case to go mask free. They've determined that there is one set of rules for one kids and a different set of rules for the other. Maybe we'll get the appellate ruling before then. Maybe we'll have something to celebrate at this. This is a positive gathering of people. This is an effort to put yourself into something that can have a very positive outcome, that can be a very positive gathering of people on the sidewalk, holding signs saying, show me your smile. Tuesday, February 15th, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. at your district office, your school district office, and celebrate those school districts who have already chosen to take this route, and encourage those districts who haven't to reconsider in a positive, uplifting way. And let's see how many people think like we do. Let's see how many people want to see those kids' smiles once again. Let's see how many people understand that this is something that's really important. And the governor who wants to sit by and say, we'll allow the grown-ups on February 28th to be indoors without masks. That's what your governor is going to allow you to do? And the kids aren't even included? Are you kidding me? Make sure you're connected with these local groups. They're working on putting together the flyer and I mean, when I say statewide, this is literally going to be statewide. This is going to be something to participate in. When the organizers of this group get I'm basically scooping them on this. When they get these done, I'm going to be sharing them on my Facebook page, on all my social media, on my Twitter. But I want you to make sure that you've connected to our Facebook page, and I'm probably going to do a YouTube live stream to talk about the event and to, give the details and to take your questions as well. Where do you pay your tax dollars? Where's the school district office? How can you be a part of a positive rally to see these kids smile once again? We'll have more details on that probably tomorrow, honestly. Let's take a quick break. I love reading your reaction on our live stream right now. Keep it coming, because the more that you come here to this live chat, especially on the YouTube page, we've got, let's see here. Right now we have 80 people on the YouTube live chat that are discussing these issues. You're going to see there are other people near you and connect with them and understand that this is there's broader support for this than you ever even knew. Quick break, more Annie Frey Show in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The
Mark Reardon Show.
Hey, on the Wednesday show, it's Brian Kilmeade stopping by for his weekly visit. Former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker and Toronto Sun reporter Joe Warmington on that Canadian trucker strike.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Lakeside Renovation and Design, the place you go to when you want the very best to do that renovation at your home. When you are working to finish that basement, gosh, I think a lot of people have realized that the space in their house over the last 2 years, when you've spent a lot of more time in your house, that it could probably be better organized, or you realize there's a function that you need in your home that you didn't need before. Lakeside Renovation and Design is there for you. on all of those needs. And if you need the best to come out, if you want to make sure that you have people installing the new system that you want to put in your house, as far as like maybe a new kitchen or maybe a new bathroom, that you have the very best working on it. People who are going to give you the warranty, the guarantee that it's going to be done the way you want it to be done. They do windows, and they are exclusive to Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows. They work with these beautiful windows that they can it really will transform the look of your house, but it also has obviously a function. Make sure they're not drafty. Make sure that they're not cracked or the seal is broken. Get these beautiful windows in your home and get it from the very best. Lakeside Renovation and Design. 636-978-5000. 636-978-5000. Lakeside Renovation and Design.com.
That dinner was delicious. What's next?
I'm thinking just the check.
Do you frequently have gas, bloating, diarrhea, stomach pain, or loose oily stools after eating? One or more of these symptoms could be a sign of exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, and it may be time to talk to your doctor.
If you have EPI, Creon may be right for you. Creon, pancrelipase, is an oral prescription medication that treats EPI. Creon replaces enzymes you may be missing to help you break down food properly.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosin colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Do not chew capsules or contents, as this may cause mouth irritation. Tell your doctor if you have unusual or severe stomach pain, bloating, trouble passing stool, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, worsening of painful swollen joints, or allergic reactions. Other side effects may include changes in blood sugars, gas, dizziness, or sore throat and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Talk to your doctor about Creon, the #1 prescribed EPI treatment, and visit gocreon.com. That's GOCREON.com. Or call 1-800-633-9110.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Yes.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
But little does she know that I'm a wolf and she's clubbing, 'cause at the end of the night it is her I'll be holding. I love you so, hey, that's what you say.
All right, a couple of things before we wrap up and turn this over to the Mark Reardon Show. Riley on YouTube says, hey, can I ask a favor? We're in the car right now. I'm just wondering if you could say hi to Russell Bono. He is a police officer and it would mean a lot. Well, we love police officers. So hi, Russell. Officer Russell. Hello from me. Ryan, you want to say hi to Officer Russell?
Hi, Russell.
Hey, Russell. Brad.
Hey, Russell. How are you?
Hi, Riley. Thanks for watching and commenting. Also, Drew on our Facebook page says this. I love how you complain about Illinois and continue to live there. You're almost 40 years old. Rude. And nothing has changed in 5 years. You'll be 60 years old and still complaining about Illinois. Well, Drew, let me just lay it out for you. First of all, it's my First Amendment right to complain about Illinois or to say good things about it when there are good things to say about it, like what I'm going to say right now. My family comes from a multi-generational family living on a centennial farm that's located in the state of Illinois. My in-laws come from a multi-generational family, and they now live on the family farm, and that the family farmland that my mother-in-law that she grew up in. And that land don't move. And guess what? Those are the grandparents to my children. And as much as the politics blow in the state of Illinois, as awful as they are, it's not the most important thing in my life. I have my actual family, my parents, my in-laws. They have cousins here. They have family here. My church family is here. My childhood is here. And no, I'm not going to sit idly by and twiddle my thumbs and not say bad things about the state of Illinois because I live there. I think it's a place that's worth living there. I think it's a place worth putting down roots. And I think it's worth it for somebody to stand up and say, this isn't right and it should be fixed. And it can be fixed. We are 3.5 years from having a Republican governor. We just had one. We could have another one. We could elect a Republican governor in the state of Illinois in November. We could get out of the super minority of Republicans in the General Assembly. We could get in the majority. We could. That's how this works. Drew, if I'm complaining about it, it's because I love it. You know what happens when you leave? The people who leave Illinois and go to Florida or St. Charles, I mean, the people who leave that state, it's because they can't care anymore. When you're in a relationship with somebody and you break up and it eats at you and maybe they make you so angry or you can't get them off your mind, it's because you still care. When you decide to move on, it's when you can't care anymore. And I care. And I will not ever apologize for caring. And I will not ever apologize for speaking my mind on something that can be better, because there are so many good people in the state of Illinois who can pick up and leave. I can't pick up and leave because I'd have to take like 75 people with me. And I want to move to Disney World and I can't afford that. So it's not happening. Brad, you live in Illinois. Ryan, you live in Illinois. Should we shut our mouths because we live there?
No, there's different approaches to take. I appreciate yours. Mine is to reroute the Mississippi River to include most of the Metro East.
Do you remember when they were like legit talking about people still talk about separating from Chicago, but they were like, where should Southern Illinois go to? And like for a while, we're like, we could be Kentuckians.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I'm still fine with that.
I'm not opposed to being in Missouri, but Kentucky just seems a little further south, which seems sweet.
Yeah. No, I would prefer Missouri just because I'm a Cardinal fan, but I could become a
Kentucky
Louisville Cardinal fan.
Kentucky doesn't have a team. They're still Cardinals fans.
That's what I'm saying. I could become a Louisville Cardinal fan. That's fine. I would be a Kentuckian.
Western Kentucky is St. Louis Cardinal country, buddy.
Yeah.
No, whatever.
Eastern Kentucky, Cincinnati.
You're not allowed to be a Kentucky Cardinal fan.
I'm just looking at the map here, and I'm just trying to decide where we start. I think we start up near Moline, and then just cut off Chicago. We just come straight across, go through Indianapolis, and Cincinnati, and try to hit up the Ohio River. That'd probably be the best way. No, I'm glad that you say what you say. There are outside of Chicago, the state's red. Annie, I mean,
literally,
geez.
when Quinn won the governorship in 2010, he won 3 out of 102 counties.
Yeah,
one of them was Little Chicago, St. Clair County, right over here. St. Clair County, I think one county up in the Quad Cities and Cook County. I believe I got to check my numbers on this because I'm reaching deep back into the files here. Won 3 counties, and 2 of them were like less than 100 votes. The other 2 non-Cook counties. The state, I mean, there are varying degrees of red counties all across the state, but it's freaking red. And Cook County, I don't even trust it. Like, I don't want to talk about any kind of election fraud or anything like that, but like Chicago invented it, so
yeah, come on.
Book.
Yeah, since the 20s. Chicago has decided.
The 1820s.
There's been a handful of people in Chicago deciding who's going to be elected.
I got to go coach a D-team basketball game tonight. Those are 4th and 5th graders, folks. This is not the way to release this kind of energy.
Man, I'd hate to be the referee of that game.
Why?
Because if they make a bad call, you're going to be in some kind of mood.
That's not true at all and rude. I actually have immense patience for these referees because, first of all, it's very hard to find them. And second of all, I'm a referee, so I know what it's like to be on there. So no, that is not me at all. And my frustrations, like people, they don't really do this much anymore. But people will be like, "Yeah, if we could just get the ball down the floor and not turn it over." I'm like, "Yeah, you are correct. Got any tricks?" They're 9. Like, we got some time. We were playing a grade school basketball game a week ago yesterday. It was a conference tournament. We were consolation champs, by the way. We were and like,
did you say consolation champs?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
You win the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, we were the best losers.
Okay.
And we were in the first round, and we were playing a team we played multiple times, and it's all good. These kids are getting an opportunity to play, and it's wonderful. We were winning 11-10 with like 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and I actually took a picture of myself. I'm like, I'm very self-aware, but still out of control. and not out of control in an entirely embarrassing way. But I said to Emma, our co-coach, I go, my job is to like talk about world conflicts and potential wars and invasions on the southern border. I said, none of it stresses me out this much. I'm ashamed of it in a way, but also like, you pour yourself. It's kind of like parenting. Mm-hmm. You pour yourself into teaching these kids how to do things, and you get 80% through the season. They finally do. Like we ran our offense, and we did a full ball reversal to the other wing, passed the ball in, an entry pass to the post, and she shot it and she made it, and I leapt off. I'm the assistant coach. I'm not supposed to stand. I leapt. I probably hurt myself. It's just weird. It was 11-10 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. We had scored 21 total points. It's stressful. And that was the 18. This is going to be fourth and fifth graders. I mean, like, legitimately, this game could finish 9-7.
I think I could get on board with being a Paducaian, too.
Paducah?
Yeah, or a Cape Girardean. Either way, because they're both really far south, and I'm fine with being associated with either one of them. That's fine. But this whole I'm just looking at the map of the state. The whole state, even traditionally purple areas, have gotten redder and redder over the last few years. And wait till this election.
And that's with people leaving.
Yeah, that's with mostly probably conservative people leaving. People are left are going, what the heck are you leaving me to? And so they're voting outside of Cook County.
Mm-hmm.
This state is going so much further red because it used to be the Metro East was like a coin flip.
It's Trump country.
It is now.
Weird.
So this is where the rebellion actually, like we said, it's actually you're just saying I want to follow the law. My leaders are not following the law. The rebellion is please follow the law. How strange is that?
Brian on YouTube said Andy will be screaming at those kids. I said hustle. So he's been to the games. I mean, honestly, when you coach this level, the goal is try. Just go out there and try. Just go out there and do something. Make an effort. Who cares what happens?
And if you don't try, I'm cutting a Switch.
What?
But it's
not a Nintendo
so good.
Switch.
Hey, let me just throw this in here. You said Switch, and it reminded me of the Michael Jackson documentary they did like a long time ago, and it was showing how the Jackson dad was like
cutting switches
all the time.
Yeah.
I on YouTube for whatever reason, the 1993 Super Bowl halftime show was up there. And I was like, oh, let's watch it. It was Michael Jackson, Cowboys, Bills. My kids were like, what is this? Who is this? The questions they had about Michael Jackson, I literally didn't have answers for. They had never seen him before. They did not understand what they were watching.
That's a shame we got 10 seconds left because I would like to hear those questions.
I would not like to ask them on the air. It was interesting. Stick around, Mark Rudin coming up next.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor, Mr. Rob Miller from Harvest Town Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Brian